And we are live. Welcome to the window to our mind number 26. How are you, Charles?
I'm okay. I'm just made it apparently.
Yeah, I had some kind of glitch in my mind because one of my alarm went on as we went live for some reason. So I got like a glitch in the system. I just woke up. Anyhow, how are you, DC?
Doing
Or
good.
Alligator Lives Matter?
Alligator lives matter, but yeah, I'm doing good.
Anyhow, today we will talk about empathy, and uh, later on, Gray will come. Depends when he is available. We start a bit early because we will finish a bit early as well. I got a meeting later today. Um, anyhow,
If you need to
um,
masturbate, just say you need to masturbate.
no, no, it has nothing to do with
I'm
that.
needing.
I'm dead. You just deleted me. Um, So, I think you were the one, Alligator Lives Matter, that chose empathy as a topic,
Mm,
right? Was that you?
I think so. I think if I remember correctly. Um, but yeah.
That's a good start. We are not sure, but let's say it's you. Why did you pick this topic?
Mm. I guess I picked it because I thought, I kind of want to know like what goes on in people's minds. That way, like have why they care, why they're like multi and that they don't care. um, but yeah, and also to express how others feel. Yeah.
I like your new name underneath you, Charles. Empathy loves company. I think it's far better than misery loves company because I've known so many people that are like that. Misery loves company, but I think we should have more empathy loves company than the other kind of people. Um,
So is my new name Alligator Lives Matter, not Fawn or
yeah, yeah. It's alligator lives matter. Alligator,
Alligator? But
alligator,
You're,
alligator. I
you're
will
putting
get
the
it right.
you're putting the wrong cadence in. It doesn't read as lives. It reads as lives. Alligator
Lives,
lives. There you go. See,
yeah, like
lives matter.
lives.
think of it as like Black Lives Matter, just instead of black alligators, because why not?
Alligator lives matter.
Yeah,
Why is
Eng-
it so complicated,
English is
man?
weird. English is weird. Like read is also read. It's
Yeah,
very very weird.
yeah, yeah. And I thought French was, but you're right. English is as messed up as French. Oh, we got the jar. He's there. How are you, Gray?
Yeah, I'm okay. How are you doing, sir? I see there was zero empathy for, waiting a moment, but that's okay. Whatever. I'm doing good. How are you doing today, everybody? I'm sure you've gone through it because that's usually how it starts, but it's good to see you all, except for Multi.
Savage.
Emotional damage. But I'm glad you're there, Gray. So we were talking about why DC has picked this topic, and do you want to add more on that? Alligator lives
Hmm?
matter.
Um, Not really. I'll pass the torch on to anybody else. Also great. We were discussing on Malta's pronunciation of my new name, which yeah.
Alligator lives matter.
There
I
you
think I
go.
got it right
I
after
think you
like
got it
20
that time.
try. So, the biggest reason why I didn't create a question, it's because I was like, let's just have a discussion on empathy, first of all. And second, I had no idea. I was like, I will sound boring with the question I will come up with. So let's just talk about that. Let's just have a freestyle discussion, if we can call it that way.
So we're discussing why your questions would be boring? What are we discussing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he is multi-topic talk, so yeah. Of course, his questions have to be boring because, best movie takes and best TV show takes.
I think in the era of social media, I think empathy is slowly vanishing. But maybe I'm crazy. So
Slowly.
slowly.
I
Being
mean,
a bit beneficial.
You're right. So we are so easy into like bashing and critiquing stuff and people that I feel like the access of social media is just destroying empathy, to not use other YouTube unfriendly words. Am I crazy on that? Any thoughts, Gray
I
or
mean,
Charles?
I mean, I wouldn't
Crazy.
necessarily say social media is the starting of it. I mean, it is one of them, but I wouldn't say it depletes all of our empathy. I think what does that is how we were born or how we were in the beginning. Like if you ask like if you ask me, do I have empathy towards say you guys? I'd say yeah, I do. However, you ask me, do I have empathy towards anybody in my town? Only for a few of them who I do. Almost all of them I don't. So I wouldn't really say social media has anything to do with it, but that's just me.
So I will just
That's
follow up
kind of
before I.
interesting.
Yeah,
Um, so do you truly have empathy for people if it's only like a select few? Like, would you consider someone empathetic if they only,
I mean,
are empathetic to their friends or like say their family, but everybody else they couldn't give a damn about?
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
Wouldn't that be sympathy?
no. I think what I meant, Gray, was I think an empathetic person is someone who can understand the pain of someone else who's they're going through. It could be even the most random stranger who has who let's just say he or she has no idea what he or she is going through, but yet if he and she shows signs that that he or she is going through something hard, the empathetic person can figure out and realize it. Um, Sparkles. Uh,
so we got a glitch in the system, but yeah, you could keep going on your
all
train
right,
of thought. That's fascinating.
all
I think
right,
it's interesting.
all right. So, other thing I would explain was, yeah. I mean, I do have empathy towards my friends, you guys, because I mean, I know you guys are actual good people. Yes, including you, Gray. But it's like if you ask, but a reason why I would not have empathy towards, say, bad people or people in my town is because one, they never showed they care in the first place. So second, they deserve no empathy. So yeah. But it's also important the fact that they don't really would show it. So that's another thing. Like I bet if we all discuss all of our problems, our everyday problems, I bet we all would share more empathy at best in comparison. And that's my closing thoughts.
So you think your entire town doesn't have any empathy?
Normally, I would say no. I bet there's a few people, but honestly, my town is almost a completely different like place sometimes. And yeah, I will agree. I will say this: there is almost no empathy. So, Charles, it may sound absurd and ridiculous, but it's true.
I'm not trying to like dox you or anything, but like, is your town really small, or do you know everyone there? Out of curiosity.
I mean, I don't know everyone, but I know like a huge chunk. I know a huge chunk of people, but not everyone.
Fair enough. I mean, I've never had like small town living. It's always been like medium to big city living. So I don't know. I just felt like I never knew anyone that I was around. Like it was always kind of, you know, uh, I knew like the people immediately around me or in the situations that I'm in, but I don't know. There was just always countless people that it's like, odds are like looking down the street, I'm never going to see anyone that I know. It's just random new people. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it slightly differently. Um, hmm. I'd have to think that, there are people in any geographic location that, are worth empathizing with, because it's really just kind of understanding, right? So
Yeah,
the ability to understand and share feelings. So
yeah,
I don't
like
know. I would think that, like, even if they're horrible people and you don't like them, you could still kind of understand like what feelings they're having, maybe why they're having those feelings.
yeah, I can
But I don't know.
kind of understand in some area. But yeah, like
But maybe
go
maybe
on.
I will follow up on what Drea said. Don't you think it may be more accurate to say the people at your school, because this is the ones you're interacting with the most? I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I meant to say. But yeah,
so. I will also ask you this: do you think everyone? Well, I know you the answer, but it's more like maybe you should consider something else. So the way I will frame it is, don't people all deserve empathy, even if they may do things wrong or bad? Don't you think they can have a shot to prove you otherwise, or they can have a chance of like you trying to understand why they're like that?
Hmm.
Is it too messy? I think it's too messy, but
No,
I
it's
don't know how
actually
to. Okay.
I understand. I understand it. My answer is yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if they actually wanted to change and have shown it, then yeah, I could see some empathies there. And then plus, if they explain what they've been through at the time, then yeah, I can see that. However, if it's if the person went through almost nothing and they had nothing bad wrong in their lives and yet they acted like that, that's when I won't have empathy for anyone.
But how do you know they had nothing? Like, even if you may not see it, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind closed door and stuff they won't share, or they will put a facade. So it's
Yeah.
sorry, like I feel like I tear apart what you're trying to say, but I try to put some perspective, because we talk about
We
empathy.
empathize with the feelings that you're having for sure. We understand what you're saying, and
Yeah.
we do acknowledge that that is what you're feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. One thing to keep in mind too, like, I don't know. I know everyone said this to me when I was like in high school, and it's like, yeah, screw you. You don't know what you're talking about. But
Mm.
people change so much. You're really
Mm.
trying to find yourself, like in your early adulthood. I know I'm not the same person I was. I know I did a bunch of stupid shit and like fucked over a bunch of friends, fucked over a bunch of acquaintances. Just be cautious. People can change, and like I'm sure you're not the same person you were like 5 years ago. That would be ridiculous. You'd be very young. So I don't know. I just be cautious of always writing people off. Sometimes people are, they need to make the mistakes to learn from them. Um, I know a lot of people should have written me off, and I'm very grateful that they didn't. But yeah,
I'm just in it for
at
the
least
money.
try to understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been trying to think of with the people in my school is like I try to think if there's something wrong with their lives and I realize no, there's nothing wrong with their lives and it's just them making bad choices. That's what makes their lives terrible. But it made me also
But I mean,
realize
like, I get you, but also keep in mind, like, even if they've got like a good life and they just seem to be a bad person, I don't know. Like, you never truly know what's going on kind of behind closed doors. Like, the worst thing that's ever happened to somebody is still the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Like, try to
and
have some empathy for,
Still relative. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But you're right. Like, it's not like they've been through like child slavery or, or forced labor camps like their entire life. Like, yeah, that could be so much worse, but you don't know what's going on like at their house behind closed doors. Like, I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, but they're still human beings. They're still trying to figure this out. They don't
Well,
know everything.
It's also like what Sparkle said. They don't like people don't like thinking about other people. We're very selfish in nature, and they need to be like given a reason to think about somebody else. And usually it's put yourself in this person's shoes, and then they start. Granted, you have to hold their hand through it, but most people, I would assume, have some form of empathy if they need to be shown it. But nobody wants to experience something that they don't want to experience. it's just putting yourself in the person's shoes.
And I will also talk back about a video we covered for 2 weeks, where they mentioned, oh, that person has every ingredient, every thing that should lead to success, yet they don't have success. So that was the average looking or above average looking girl that was still lonely. So to think that it's just yeah, it's just that you cannot diminish someone else's struggle in life because you don't know how you don't know how they experience that. So again, you say they haven't experienced something, but doesn't that statement diminish what they went through? You
I
know,
mean,
do you
I
know where I'm
mean,
getting at?
yeah, I know what you're getting at. It's just that with my town, it's kind of a different like rule and logic to apply with that. That's why it gets like, what is going on here? But yeah, it's not like in say San Francisco. My town is almost a completely different world at this point. That's what I like to refer to it as because yeah, and that's why I don't have empathy for almost a lot of people in my town because like not only do they not deserve it, but you look at the crimes they commit, and I say crimes because yeah, it's kind of crimes. Yeah, there should be no reason I should have empathy for them.
Okay, well, so Gray, except if you guys would like to ask more to DC because he had the spotlight for quite a long time. Gray,
Ahoy, ahoy.
empathy. What do you think of empathy?
I don't disagree. So I think empathy is a good thing. I think it's something that, we all need to work on because it's so easy to just be stuck in your point of view, but to like try and put yourself in somebody else's shoes, it's a skill that you need to work on for sure. It's not something that necessarily comes natural to us, as both Sparkles and Charles both pointed out. Like, people aren't usually thinking of anything other than themselves. Sadly, they will slight other people, but they're not doing it because they're thinking, I need to ruin this person. It's like, hey, this would be so much easier to do it this way, or I'm not thinking about this person. So I don't know. It is definitely a skill that I had to work on. I guess I shouldn't talk for everybody, but I know I had very little empathy as a youngster, and I was a jerk, and I didn't really think about the consequences of my actions. But there are other people we're sharing this planet with. Perhaps what we're doing affects them as well, and you could get the same result to you without necessarily causing other results to others if you, have a little bit more empathy as to what's going on. Specifically, kind of like the way that I was phrasing things. I think I used to be kind of a jerk, and I didn't kind of consider people's feelings. Now I'd like to think that I'm a little bit more considerate with how I'm expressing myself. I don't need to be as bombastic. But yeah, there were definitely more real world things that I did that were horrible. But that kind of being said, I don't disagree with you, Multi, that social media is this huge. I think it's exacerbated the situation, but I don't know. This problem of empathy, it's been around kind of forever. Like like you can go back to any sort of tribal things where you have empathy for the in group, but not the out group. Sadly, a lot of things kind of go to this. Like, you can put yourself in the shoes of somebody who you relate to, but to do that to somebody who's on the opposite camp, it's a little bit harder. Like any of the big political issues, we've kind of had that our entire, political existence in this country, or any country really. But this whole social media thing, I think it really has exacerbated it, where based on the algorithms and based on what you're clicking on, it wants to give you more things that you're going to click on. It wants to show you what you want to see. It's so easy to get trapped in your own bubble, to be in an echo chamber, and then to not relate to the other side at all, and to not see, hey, what is their actual argument, instead of just getting like a straw man version of it, a fake version, something easily knocked over. I think that's a sign of not showing empathy. It's not really, understanding what the other person is saying, what their, issue with something is. I think we could definitely help understand the feelings of others more. Even if you don't agree with it, you can kind of hear where somebody is coming from. I think a lot of the social media thing isn't that isn't pushed with it. It's not really a feature of it. It's kind of the opposite. But yeah, I think that's kind of my initial thoughts on empathy.
That's a good one. Now, I highlighted this comment because I thought that was very interesting to go over. Thank you for sharing this comment with us, DB Deadeye Gaming. Sorry if I butchered the name, but empathy is a good thing, but too much empathy can be mentally harmful. Example, someone feels guilty for something they had no involvement in, but still feels empathy.
Guilt and empathy aren't the same thing, though.
No, I think, yeah, there is a little conflation there. You're right. Like if you're taking on somebody else's guilt or you're taking on like the burden, I don't know if that's necessarily like the best way of being empathetic. I think it's more kind of understanding like, oh, so this is what this person is feeling. This is possibly why they're feeling it. But yeah, definitely try not to take on the guilt of others or any guilt that you don't need to have. Even most of the guilt we experience, we don't need. But maybe that's a personal thing.
I also think maybe what he meant is because you got empathy and you feel like someone else has a bad day and you think that's your fault because you got too much empathy. I think that's also somewhat the idea of what he's trying to say. Like, it's
someone
going
has
too
a bad day because you have too much empathy.
No, I will reword it. So someone has a bad day. You have empathy. You understand that person.
Sure.
But like, because there's someone that feels guilt, you think you may have a doing into that person bad day. So because you got empathy, sometimes it's intertwined with guilt. I don't know how to word it. In my mind, it's so clear. I just don't know how to word it.
I don't think guilt and empathy are associated with each other. Empathy is, guilt is a feeling for an individual or a couple of people, but empathy is like a feeling. Humans have it. You can not have empathy and still feel guilty.
Well, I'm really bad at explaining stuff, but I think if I had better words, I could explain better the train of thoughts.
Yeah,
but
I'm not the best person either. My mind and mouth are not cooperating.
I've definitely like toxically kind of used empathy. Like I've understood what somebody else is kind of feeling, and it's like, oh crap, like I made them feel that by doing this, and I've definitely felt guilt for it. I wonder if that's what he's trying to mean, because it's like I definitely put myself through the ringer mentally that way, and that sucks. He's right. We shouldn't be trying to like put ourselves through that, but empathy doesn't necessarily have to come with guilt. I'm definitely neurotic, so that's kind of one of the things that I do. It's like, oh crap, I completely did this to this other person. That's my fault. Where it's kind of just more understanding where they're at. But you're right, there is like a toxic component, but that generally is kind of based on your own individual way of dealing with it. I know I was kind of taking on way too much responsibility for how everybody else is feeling, but if that's what they're getting at, like, yeah, that is a toxic way of doing it. I've definitely screwed myself up for a while and had to kind of learn to not do that, blame myself for everybody else's feelings. But I think it's supposed to be kind of more just understanding like what they're feeling and possibly why they're feeling it.
Yeah, you hit the thing at the right place. That's exactly what he meant. So that's something, and I was trying to convey that, but you did it in a much better way than me. your work, your brain is way better wired than mine. So Charles, empathy loves company.
And
do you want to expand on that?
No, I'm not expanding on my name.
He's a company man.
Any thoughts on empathy? Like, what's your experience with like social media, like making empathy worse?
It, you see, I don't think social media is using empathy or being empathetic whatsoever. There appears to be these, I believe it was either you or Gray who were talking about it, like the echo chamber type mentality where it's yeah. There's like this, I don't know, I'm better than you because I worry about these people type thing going on, and it's so unnatural and ingenuous. And it's there's this movement of like brownie points that people are trying to score on the internet that is just none of it seems realistic or like these people believe it, because if people had empathy, they wouldn't completely flip and try to make another side feel like shit. Because if you had empathy, you would try to understand why they did or said the things they do and not just return the favor. I realize me saying that is irony, but
Why is it irony,
But-
Charles?
Yeah, you're right. Because he's doing what they're doing right now. But not
well,
at
no,
the same
I have
extent.
done it in the past. Instead
Yeah.
of taking the high road, I didn't. Main character syndrome, yes. My fucking
So-
brain has the red ring of death right now.
that's I really like your take, because that's what's going on, man. That's why I thought like social media made everything worse. I think it's also the way people like to frame stuff. You are the enemy if you're not with me, and
Right.
sometimes they will like what you said. They will try to mark some points, but I'm sure when they turn off the camera, they're not like that. They are another way. They may not stick up to the person that's getting bullied. They may just let it happen because there's no camera filming them.
Well,
That's
there's the same thing in the other direction where these people do like these clickbait things where they're like give money to a homeless guy, and it's just like, put the camera away. How about you just do that normally? Like, why are you going for clout? Like, what? Just be nice. Like, why do you have to get clicks off this?
yeah. Like when you do something good, if you feel the need that you need to share and tell everyone, that's not genuinely being good. It's just like pretending to be.
It's clout. It's seeking clout. It's ridiculous.
And it's sad. And because we will go on a small tangent on pretending. After the stream yesterday, I was like, I like to pretend to be an intellectual,
Oh,
So that's a very small tangent. I like to pretend to be an intellectual. So that also reflects to a lot of people. They like to pretend they are sensitive to others, but they aren't, because they wouldn't do what they do. So yeah, I think we had a very nice talk about empathy. I'm wondering if any of you would like to add more before we react to something.
It's going to take a movement to be pretty strong, to not look for clout, not look for money, not look for anything like that, but to actually solve some of this, because bullying bullies, you're just going to create more bullies. It's not going to solve things, and the internet is so heavy with bullying, one way or another, and somebody's going to have to just do it for the sake of humanity.
Too wrong doesn't make it right. That's my motto, I think.
You're just continuing the cycle. It just will continue again. Good old Addy Hitler from Germany was bullied, had some terrible things, and look what he did. And a lot of people, that's a terrible analogy.
But that's
hate life.
one, so that's good. That's one.
Yeah.
If it's terrible one, that's one. You know.
Well, you could. That's an extreme. I'm not having a good brain day today.
At least you have good days. Mine's consistently.
Still waiting.
Meh.
Still waiting on that good day.
Yeah. Well, my days have been consistently getting worse. So, Gray, you're lucky, man.
Hey,
You
what can I
don't know.
say?
You don't
Aim
know
low
what's
and
going on
stay
in
there.
Gray's life after he turned off the cam. You know.
Camera is off.
I don't exist after the camera's off. I'm sorry.
Disembodied voice.
So yeah, I think today I got something interesting that
We actually got some good advice. So DB Deadeye Gaming was saying, word of advice: drink water, go outside, and breathe the nice air, and care for your neighbor as you would want him or her to do the same for you. That's some
And-
really awesome advice. I disagree with nothing that you said there. I think if we could all do that, this would be a better world. Screw vanilla Coke, water.
I like what he says, and I will add a bit more on it. Don't do it because you expect it in return. Do it because it's the right thing to do.
Just
That
give me
makes-
all the vanilla Coke. You guys drink your water.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that wasn't very empathetic to vanilla Coke drinkers out there. I apologize.
Yeah.
I know
Gray.
personally I struggle drinking water. Who doesn't want to drink something tastier? But
This opinion
right.
brought to you by.
Charles, you are speaking our language.
So, today will be a video that's kind of a follow-up of what we had like 4 weeks ago with Shoe on Ed, because I do like Shoe on Ed a lot. So we had like episode 2 that was male loneliness, and she did a video about male loneliness, and she got a lot of response. And the title right there is "Man Deserves to Be Lonely," and I feel like it works very well with empathy, because this kind of thought process is the lack of empathy in what it may does. So here we will react to this because I'm really curious. I actually had seen it a few weeks ago, but my brain is fried, so I can't remember what I had seen. So we will react to that. This will be a top tier entertainment.
This video was
Wait.
the one I've been working on for a while.
Is that true?
What?
Is DB somehow related to Sparkles? Am I? I can't read tone.
it sounds like it. But hell yeah. If so, that's a smart dude. Way smarter than me at 15.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good, Miss Sparkle. You know how to raise your boys. That's good. Good job. We need more mothers out there like that. So, let's play this. When YouTube wants it to be played.
Called the Male Loneliness Epidemic. If you haven't watched that video, please go watch it first before you watch this one, so this all makes a lot more sense, and then come back to this one. Link in the description. Now, although there was a lot of support for this video, there was also a lot of hate. A lot of hate. In fact, the most hate that I've probably...
Are you surprised that there would be a lot of hate toward
No.
that kind of content?
Honestly, I'm not even surprised.
Why?
It's YouTube. Of course, people are going to have to hate videos. But yeah.
Any response, Shaw, on why it's not surprising that there's backlash toward that?
I don't know what the backlash is. My assumption, based on my experience, is people not appreciating a woman tell everybody what men are going through.
I mean, it's more of people who can't appreciate life, but okay.
Oh,
I think it might be going a little bit more with like the theme of the day that you know, she's pointing out that there is this male loneliness epidemic and people are having like zero empathy towards it. It's like, you deserve it. You guys are privileged, whatever. I'm assuming the fact that she's saying that she got the most backlash ever over this, that is a little surprising to me. I would have thought the fact that, you know, she was always traditionally on the left and then I don't think she's married. I think she might be engaged to a guy who's kind of on the right, who's now I can't remember what he's calling his new movement, but I thought she would have gotten like a lot more hate over that because people were calling him your German Addy friends. They would have called him a follower of him. So yeah, I would have thought that she had more backlash in the past, but if she's getting more off of just saying like, hey, there's this epidemic that males are being lonely, I don't know, that sounds kind of concerning. Like I don't know, when we were watching that female loneliness one, it's like, holy shit, like I am being very close-minded. I didn't think how horrible it would be if everyone's only interested in you and your looks. Like, you know, it could still be extremely lonely, even though people aren't like disgusted to sit next to you. They're like, you know, actually wanting you to. I guess I was looking at it from another thing where it's like, you know, you're walking down the aisle and people are like, oh, don't sit next to me, I don't want that. It could still be very lonely, you know, being an attractive person that isn't seen for a human being. So I don't know. I'm just thinking they're not having the empathy towards the men, but perhaps I'm wrong and I'm reading too much into Malty's mind. We'll see.
Do content mills have an obligation to be empathetic?
I don't think you have an obligation, but you know, it'll be nice. But
I think a lot right now, and Dre, you read my mind. So that's why I think there's backlash. It's because of the lack of empathy. That's like peak answer, I think. So, if you guys would like to add more, we will play. Okay.
Probably ever received on a video ever. And if you're familiar
That does
with the
sound like
content I make on
hyperbole.
this channel,
Don't pause it. I told you not to. It does sound a bit like hyperbole.
I do
It's
agree with
hyperbole.
that.
Don't hear what I said.
I do agree with that. Maybe she exaggerates a bit, but I think she does a lot of that because that's her, and she is funny.
Oh, that's surprising.
You buzz so much. I know you will be here. Yeah.
Sparkles is saying she's going to take a 5-hour break and be back for the end.
You know,
maybe not because today it's a bit shorter. I think maybe we'll see, but limited time today.
purpose.
There's a lot of truth to what you're saying there.
When you see a Matt Walsh moment, you're like, this will steal the show, man. Charles' reaction to it is like, what did they step into today?
well, everyone's favorite human being, Matt Walsh.
Yeah, poor Charles. Yeah, Charles, this is just a glimpse of what we have to deal with Multi's bad takes, and his insanity. So yeah.
See, even the internet wants us to not.
And in the whole video, which is worth watching. That video has 1.5 million views just the last week.
Thanks, Matt Walsh. You're my greatest ally. My male loneliness video was the fastest growing video on my channel to date. And there is a reason for that. It resonated with a lot of people. I got hundreds and hundreds of comments every single day by men venting in my comments section, feeling like for once they were being heard and that they were in a place where they could talk. It was simultaneously the most heartwarming and heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. And this discussion blew up so much that it eventually reached TikTok.
So apparently there's a male loneliness epidemic right now.
Just imagine a man laughing on woman's loneliness.
I mean, there's like 2 giant podcasts that are kind of doing that. Like that's what that whatever podcast and like a whole bunch of those other ones are. It's like Oh, what? You guys can't find like a whatever you want to call it, like a quality relationship, and you're just selling about whatever. Sucks to be you. Let's laugh at them.
Wall,
You know,
get
it
wrecked,
kinda,
loser.
yeah, it kind of sucks because we are experiencing that. There is like the other version of it, which seems to be those, you know, like Fresh and Fit or whatever. Or there's a whole bunch of those kind of red pill ones. I think I said 2, but there's
The Phantom Initiative?
countless versions of those.
Oh,
Yeah. There's a lot of those where, you know, we're just not showing empathy for the other side. It's like, no, you can only have one point of view. I'm not going to understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to understand why you would possibly be living this lifestyle or anything like that. Instead, I'm just going to judge you and laugh at you.
yep.
You know, it's different. But this feels very much the same. It just sucks because this is supposed to be coming from the empathetic side. But
I don't
I don't know.
understand it.
yeah, it's hard to understand.
I wish I had a clip to just.
Yeah, it's a drop, you know. If only we had that on loop that we could just keep playing.
And I gotta say, I'm glad that at least on front of the camera, Shuaned looks like someone that has empathy, at least on the front of the camera, because she's like, it's heartbreaking to see that kind of comments that people are feeling dismissed. So empathy still exists. Well, people try to show that they are empathetic. Is it a word?
Empathetic, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love the
yeah.
way you said it, though.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
that's
It
like
sounds
in
like me when I
French.
think.
Perfect. That's the same thing as in French, but pronounced otherwise. So I guess I can play, except if you guys would like to add more to this. This is
Play
TikTok for
away.
you.
This the consequences of your own actions.
How is it my own action? Like, I get it, sometimes it is, but the way she framed it is like, the moment you're a lonely man, it's because of you. That's your fault. But is it always your fault? That's
Sucks
the
Nope.
to
question.
suck.
Nope. I mean, I think with me, it's kind of the perfect example. Like, I'm loneliness, but it wasn't even my fault. So, yeah.
You firebombed your entire town.
No. It's just, no,
They
it's just
deserved
got
it,
to a
though.
point where I realized I couldn't. I decided, because if nobody supports me in half the stuff, that's not online. That's
Were you in Baltimore recently?
what?
What? Were you in Baltimore recently?
We're just trying to build some bridges of understanding.
Yeah, great. My town is hard to explain, but let's just say they're just serial killers at the end of the day.
My, are you alive if your town is filled with serial killer, man?
And they all hate you. That's you're lucky.
Yeah.
Every day is luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just playing DC.
Yeah.
Men get recognized for the useless things that they are in society.
Ugh.
This is TikTok.
She
I
said
want
get
to
wrecked
do
too. She did say get wrecked.
You know, they're just useless things in society. You know,
Off.
we don't need them. They're not a key part of this. I don't know. I guess I don't understand it. Like, why can't we have a modicum of empathy for the other? I don't even know why, like, men have to be against women or whatever, but fair enough. I've definitely heard reasons, and I've tried to understand those reasons. I think that, I don't know. I guess this is getting into a different thing, but, you know, like the whole cry of, like, the patriarchy or whatever. I've tried to understand where those are coming from, and okay, fair enough. There are a bunch of areas of society that are kind of run by males. All right. You know, I'm not going to say like whatever, you useless like half of society. Like I don't know. I'd still like to kind of understand where they're coming from and why they're feeling that way.
I'm drawn to hypocrisy, and I love it when somebody is on TikTok lying down, talking about how much somebody else is useless. Couldn't be
Roasted,
bothered.
flamed. That's your best comment so far today. I like it.
Yeah,
That is
I
a
mean,
great observation.
100%.
my brain's warming up.
TikTok is a
It's hell.
place that belongs in hell.
Damn, multi.
It's short hell.
It's a lovely place that I think even you can live.
On Art Pass, like it's filled with people like you're like when someone asks that kind of comment, I feel like that person doesn't have a brother or a son, and that person probably has a mother with the same kind of a mind state. So the father most likely left because he was insulted or such. Like, that divide is, it's so sad. And
It's life, man.
but yeah, that lack of empathy, it's like, it baffles me. It's
Yeah. Anybody who completely subscribes to just any viewpoint, they don't have empathy.
yeah.
Like, again, this has a very angry feminist vibe to it, and it just doesn't hold any empathy, or not any, but if you're a guy, get fucked, like, wrecked,
Deserve.
So women were mostly like the majority of people doing the heavy lifting for feminism, right? But if they didn't add men allies, trust me, maybe it would never have worked, because you need allies on both sides for something to work out.
Right.
I don't know the detail of history everywhere, but I can bet there are male allies that help the cause. Women did the heavy lifting. They did most of the work, but trust me, the small addition men did in that war to equality and such, it didn't matter. It was a thing. So
Pixar
when
didn't happen.
so it's the same thing like with slavery. It's a bit different but similar. Like, I don't believe it's only like the slaves and relatives of slaves that were the reason why it stopped. I think there are also people on the other side that realized, damn, it's wrong, so let's help out the people that were wrong, you know? It's
Like
you
Alfred
need
Lincoln.
allies. Yeah, you need allies to solve something. So that tribe mentality she has is, it's just unbelievable. But it's believable because she said it. But I don't get it.
Yeah, it's the sorry.
No, go for it. Go for
It's
it.
cool. You got 30 seconds before it plays.
The absolute mentality, like, believe all women, all men are this. Well, hold on. No, if you start doing things like that, you're going to have problems because people are going to exploit those views.
Yeah.
Wait, are you trying to bring nuance into this?
No.
No, we need black and white thinking here.
Oh.
Yeah, sadly, that's what a lot of this lack of empathy is just black and white thinking, all or nothing. You know, you're all horrible. None of you get that. Like, it. I would like to think that we're not all monoliths and we could have some nuance in our opinions of each other, but I don't know. I wonder if she would see herself as saying, like, all get wrecked, you are all useless men, if she would see that as empathetic in some way.
Yeah, because, I mean, I could just have this muted and be like, oh, look, this lazy pig on a bed just being lazy.
But you're better than that, and instead you want to kind of understand why she's saying that.
I don't know if I am.
That's amazing.
And what do men do? Oh my God, I'm lonely.
Is there a male loneliness epidemic right now, or are more and more women just progressively realizing that there's a lot better things to do in life than be stuck with a toxic, insecure man?
I think there's also way better stuff to do than going on TikTok and bash people. But hey, they do it because I don't know how they identify themselves as.
Is this still the Matt Walsh video?
No,
I think it's more like shoe on it, like finding stuff on TikTok and like placing it in the compilation.
But so it's a shoe on head video. She did include the clip where Matt Walsh was praising her for some reason, but it is still that same video.
Yeah.
But now she's just showing so many empathetic people on TikTok who are responding to her video.
Oh, showy on heads picking out a bunch of TikToks.
Yeah.
They were kind of responding to her male loneliness epidemic video. Like, this is just kind of talking about the backlash she got for just making this video saying, hey, there is this epidemic of male loneliness. Apparently people are like, screw that. It doesn't exist, and they deserve it.
Is this person non-binary that we're looking at now?
They're definitely using a filter, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah. So I guess we can play now.
I don't think we're in the middle of a male loneliness epidemic. We're in the middle.
You're a woman. So how would you say that? Because you have brothers and you're like, oh, my brother aren't lonely, they have a girlfriend. Or, oh, my brothers don't think that, so therefore it doesn't exist. I don't know how you can say it's not a thing when it won't really affect you directly, at least.
Multi, be honest. It's TikTok and videos like this why you hate subtitles, right? Because I read that subtitle with the emoji and I'm just turned off in every way and shape.
Well,
I would feel that. I just
to be
read
a jerk
the
and have
subtitle.
zero empathy for you, Multi. Let me just cut in and shit on your point really quick. So you're saying like, why should she know or anything like that? It's like, but again, it's that empathy thing. The same reason why we were able to understand that female loneliness video from last time. Like, just because you don't share the gender doesn't mean that you can't understand what they're talking about and what they're saying. So be careful. Empathy would be good to show to her too.
She says it's not a thing, but how can she say it's not a thing?
Well, literally, those are the only words that she was able to get out before you paused it. So maybe she's going to explain it in a second. It's
really
TikTok, so I'm sure
so?
she's going to be thorough. But I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you just mentioned, like, how would you know because you're a woman? And come on, like, how would we know about female loneliness because we're men? Because we have empathy and we can kind of understand what they're feeling and what they're saying. I think it goes to that empathy thing. We should practice it more as people.
Yeah, actually, you make a good point.
I'm not good enough to practice.
Totally.
Middle of a mass female awakening.
You're just reaping the concept.
So that's her entire statement. It's not a thing.
Well, that's the entire one that Shu included in that like 2-second clip of it. But you know, we could track it down, and I'm sure she would thoroughly explain it. Yeah.
Have you ever went to TikTok?
Nobody
bro?
explains anything.
Have you ever went to TikTok just to
Sadly, I have. Yeah, it doesn't usually explain things, but I give her the benefit of the doubt. She was the one who did. We just didn't see it because it was clipped.
What is this? What is under the subtitle there? Is it men can't be lonely? Yeah, right. Incoming Stitch. Is that what I'm reading?
Yeah.
I can't make out under the.
That's what it sounds like. And then she has another one on top of that. So I'm not sure if she's responding to somebody who said, yeah, right. It does seem like there are responses to responses to responses to responses.
It's a shame they don't have like a platform where they can just, speak for longer than 90 seconds. What a shame.
Well, who needs longer than 90 seconds? What do you want to try and explain?
Yeah, who needs that?
90 seconds. I got to do 7 TikToks in that time. What are you talking about? Nice candelabra. No, wait,
consequences of your terrible upbringing, your own actions.
Some men are lonely because y'all are fucking creeps.
Y'all deserve to be lonely. Every single one of them. This is their fault. Fuck them.
Men's loneliness epidemic that's going on. That sounds like it really sucks. Just wondering if they've considered smiling more.
Wow. That's
so if I smile, I will get people?
Nope.
No, not people. You'll not be lonely anymore.
So it's that trope that, people tell women very sexistly, like, you should smile more, or you look prettier when you smile. So come on, just smile. I don't know. As somebody who's not usually smiling, I've been told that a lot, not only by females. It doesn't feel great. So again, like, where's that empathy thing? Like, couldn't they be like, oh yeah, it really is shitty when you're having a bad day and someone's like, have you tried smiling? It's like, yeah, I have. Thanks. I never considered just smiling.
God, it's that simple, huh? Shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Started earlier. Like, it's easy. It's just do this.
It's not.
So I get what she's doing. She's throwing the sexism back at it. Like, okay, but does that solve anything, or is that just shitty on top of shitty? Like, perhaps explain things. I don't know.
Yeah,
Show your work.
I agree with you, Gray. And no, it doesn't work. But yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
A really funny joke. I've never heard that before.
Have the men just tried smiling a little bit more?
I'd recommend smiling more.
Have they tried smiling more?
Have you thought about smiling more?
Maybe they should smile more.
Maybe they should try to smile more.
Have they tried smiling more?
That's awful.
I don't want to be an ass, but the one who did do the really creepy, disturbing smile, maybe she should try less. I'm an asshole in this. I'm being very unempathetic, but it was not a good smile. But that being said, I understand the point that they're making. It doesn't help anyone to tell them to smile. That's why I didn't tell that girl to smile.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
try less is not smile. It's,
yeah.
by definition, they're not the same.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I should smile when my life is absolutely terrible. Yeah, totally. It's totally going to give me a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Have they tried smiling?
Is this why people think women aren't funny? Bleak. Now, TikTok isn't the only place.
There's plenty of funny ladies out there. TikTok is not where you find most of the funny people in this world.
TikTok is not where you get anything other than like teeth cancer.
Yeah, and plus, for anybody watching, the one way to get funny girls on here is watch this lovely podcast.
Miss Sparkle.
Ray, did we talk about women in comedy?
No, I would love to.
but
There's a
we can
really
add
fun
it.
Hannah Gatsby one that just kind of came out that's showing a lot of representation. Yeah, we should talk about women in comedy. I love a lot of women in comedy. There's some real funny ladies out there. They're generally not on TikTok.
I hope they aren't. So we will add this. So after the stream, guys need to remind me on one of the chats so I remember adding it.
Then we casually forget it, and then you forget it, and then it doesn't happen.
I've already forgotten.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Where this insanity happened. The thumbnail of my video went viral on Twitter, which led to some of the most funniest and unhinged reactions. So we are going to go through some of these and talk about them, as well as some of the angry comments I got from the manosphere. Let's jump into it.
Manosphere is like the manosphere. So in case guys don't know, so that's the red pillars, the people that like to dunk on women. It's like Fresh and Fit, the Whatever podcast, and like many.
Yeah, he'll be in there. They kind of, what was it before? It was like dating. I forget what they called it, but it was like a pickup artist or pickup instructor. Anyway, it slowly morphed into Red Pill and Manosphere type deal. But yeah, I'm not sure they speak for all men or should, but
hashtag not all men.
I'm sure they took the message that she was saying and they interpreted it perfectly. I'm sure these are going to be a bunch of totally hinged folks, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Hell yeah, there will be pro equality, I'm telling you.
Male loneliness is not real and not valid. Men are lonely because they are terrible people. Why the f should anyone have empathy for men?
Okay. Yeah, there are terrible men out there, but that doesn't apply for everyone. And first off, we're still people as well. We go through the same thing you women go through. Like, so it's like, do we deserve some empathy? No? Okay.
So like, if we are in a dark place, we should stay there or die? Is it what the person is trying to convey?
Pretty much.
I'd love to see if some of these content creators are sponsored by like BetterHelp or something.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It just seems weird to write off half the population.
Yeah. The half that would help procreate too.
Yeah. But then, wait, Charles,
that could be either side. It's a trick.
You see, Charles, now we got science, and because science ain't human at their core, we no longer really have men to procreate, because now we can have like seeds created in labs.
Yeah, no. They don't create seeds in labs. They can freeze seeds that come from men.
So I understand what you're talking about with the science thing, but it seems like the argument over here might not be science. It's more like the whole men were born bad. So isn't that kind of more the religion thing? I don't know. It's interesting. It does seem like, I don't know. I'm thinking original sin type of deal from that comment, but perhaps I'm wrong.
I do
Perhaps
like that.
they meant it in a scientific way.
I like that religious folk turn to science only to help their stance on certain issues, like say the trans issue. But when it comes to their precious,
I guess
belief system
along those lines. So, like, if we didn't identify as men, do we then get empathy, or is it?
We don't get empathy because we're men, so we don't deserve it for some reason. Even if we do nothing wrong, but yeah.
And I just realized there's a comment: "Men are born bad." I haven't seen that comment before that moment. Right now, I just mentioned it. Dang!
I referenced it a few seconds ago. So good times.
So we were all born.
Okay. That person left that comment. Okay.
Who is we? What is what?
Did we film in? That was the thumbnail.
The thumbnail. I got it.
Yeah.
Men are subhuman, and their loneliness can't be cured because they can't relate to actual human beings.
Wow.
I think I lost brain cell at that second.
Subhuman.
Well, that's good, Monty. That's good.
The light in the end of the tunnel is blocked by some boulder or something. I don't know.
Good.
I mean, I guess it could be less empathetic. It could say that, they're not even human, but at least we're like subhuman, like we're close. Guess it could be a worse statement, but yeah, that seems a bit harsh. Yeah.
Yeah. Dad, can I
even
talk
the
to you for a
most
second?
sexist of even the most sexist of dudes that I know are not saying, yeah, but women aren't human. I mean, they're just women.
This is these moments. I'm glad my half brother doesn't have a good access with internet.
Why?
Because seeing that kind of shit would
He'd be
only
stained?
affect. It would be.
Doesn't take kindly to being called subhuman.
Yeah.
Oh. Because it just rolls off my shoulders. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Beings. Most men are born useless.
Yeah.
They're meant to die alone.
Yeah.
Nah, male suicide rate needs to be higher.
Yeah.
Actually.
Whoa,
Hell yeah!
That is,
delete all
that
men.
That is dark on a whole other level.
Last generation ever. Best of
Yeah.
luck.
They said women can't be funny.
I think those who say that are proved right now with all of these comments there.
Woof.
These men are 100% the most misogynistic demons on the planet and
Which men?
deserve every bit of loneliness they feel.
Isn't it misandry what she's doing right
it's
now?
not misogynist, so she's not 100% misogynist.
Oh, wait, which
so-
flag is that? Which flag is that? Is that non-binary?
Wait.
I think so.
I'm not 100% certain. It does do the purple to the orange. I'm not positive.
Also, how is Charles now a member of Shadowloo?
What?
Shadow Loop?
Yeah,
I
it's
lose
from.
all the time. I don't need shadows.
It was like it's an organization from Street Fighter. I said do it as a joke, given how dark you've been this podcast, but yeah.
This podcast. Somebody doesn't watch
view
my
him as-
content.
He's more of an M. Bison type. I don't know if he would join any organization. It must be formed around him.
I apologize.
LOL. You don't understand the pleasure it gives me to see these men crying and depressed. Imagine
Wait,
losing in the
whoa,
world. that
pause
is-
it. Pause it. Is that a AI picture modification of Jeffrey Dahmer?
It really looks like it now that you've said it. I can't unsee that. It's like give him just slightly longer hair and back.
It looks like it.
I mean, it
It
looks
really
more,
does.
I mean, it looks more feminine, like, so maybe it's Lady Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
He was kind of pretty.
Yeah.
Okay,
but like again, I can't imagine any men saying like, it gives me so much pleasure to see women crying and depressed. I mean, maybe there's some like sick freak out there, but
And
would
the
anyone
red
want to be
pill
around that
sphere.
person?
The red
But even
pill
then, like,
sphere.
I don't think I see like the guys on whatever or like Fresh and Fit being like, I love it when women cry and they're depressed. Like, wouldn't they rather be seen with like a happy, smiling woman, as they kind of pointed out before?
Yeah.
I don't know. If somebody told me like, I just want to see them crying and depressed, I'd be like, holy hell, I don't want to be around you.
Yeah, granted, their terminology isn't the best thing ever, but yeah, they're shitty for different ways, but they don't outright say it gives me pleasure to see people crying and depressed. It's a little nihilistic.
I mean, I don't watch it a ton, so maybe they are saying that about like the OF models or whatever. If so, like, hell, that's just as fucked up as this. But yeah, to take pleasure in others' pain, that seems horrible.
Yep.
Yeah. That sounds villainous.
Literally built for you. This is an insane question to ask, considering how society continues to fail women and girls at every turn.
Are we living in the same plane of existence?
I mean, at
Are
this
we?
point, I don't know. Because now there seems to be a different definition of living in the real world and living in a fictional world inside all multi-engraved minds. Sorry.
Can you prove you're not in a fiction inside of Multi's mind?
I'm sorry, multi-engraved. I just had to make that joke.
More irony, due to, well, maybe not in the real world, but on the internet, all of this constant chat and passing this video and thumbnail along are making a woman successful.
Oh, that's
because not if this person has anything to say about it.
That's a goddamn good point. So
they're making shoe on head more popular.
So she has success. So therefore, because of the male loneliness epidemic, now shoe on head makes more money. So society didn't feel her.
Well, I didn't say sexist. That I was implying that due to the discourse on the internet and passing this video around, you're making a woman more popular.
Yeah.
And spreading her content.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's a very fair point. And that debunks right away the comment of whoever did that comment.
But the internet.
Crazy how men's well-being is considered a communal responsibility, but women's well-being isn't even considered.
Is the person that left a comment like that still living like in the 50s, or is it like very meta and the person is aware that it's not like that anymore?
Well,
I'm sure there are women that fall through the cracks. There are men that fall through the cracks. It sucks. Like, our society fails humans.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I just don't think it's based solely on one sex.
Based.
Loading,
men
loading.
suck.
Almost 1 million views in one day. I'm doing it all wrong.
No, we
Oh,
got
how
shows.
delightful.
We got shows starting making videos about male loneliness.
Well, he just has to respond like with hot takes on Twitter. Maybe that'll get them. But
I
yeah.
can't. I literally can't.
A tweet from Earth 2. I'm so tired of the idea that we must have infinite empathy for men's loneliness while women are sexualized from fucking birth.
What?
Whoa.
She
In
lives on
some
another
ways.
plane of existence.
Yeah. I mean, if you try to be charitable with what she's saying, like, I don't know. There are weird things. Like, I can't remember what the ad was like 2 months ago where people were saying that this girl was being sexualized because she's like in a very short skirt, even though it's for like back to school things. And they're saying, see, like, this boy is dressed normally, but this girl is dressed provocatively. Like, it is proof that society is sexist. There
Why
might
does her
be some
cartoon
weird
person have breasts?
and then there's all that type of thing too. And, you know, I'm sure Vosh didn't help this whole whatever thing of women being sexualized from birth. Sadly, some people do. Like, that sucks. But I don't know. Her next statement is like, we're assaulted, harassed, struggle snuggled, and forever sleeped for something we didn't choose to be. I don't know. A lot of men are also those things as well, but I don't know. It seems like we're not having empathy for the other side at all. Like, humans can do horrible things. I don't know. But yeah, she ends it with the boo-hoo, the poor men and their inability to make friends. I don't know that this is just a men problem. I think women might have an easier time getting people again to like want to sit next to them if, there's an open seat. But that doesn't mean that they're less lonely. It's a different type of lonely. But it seems like a human problem.
It seems like a person who's having issues with being sexualized from effing birth probably doesn't understand what their avatar looks like. That would be my first note.
I didn't even notice that. Based off of that, this actually might be just pure satire, but I don't know. I probably should have looked at that avatar.
Yeah.
I got to say, Charles,
Yo.
did you chose to be a man when you were born?
No, I actually didn't ask to be born, so no.
Gray, did you chose when you came up?
It wasn't until like last week.
Oh man.
So you didn't choose, like, so how were you?
I was
born?
waffling up until March, really. No, I mean, obviously we didn't choose. Like, if I could have chosen, I would have chosen much differently. The life of a dog seems pretty awesome. I think I might have chosen that.
Yeah.
Or the life of a cat. It's even better, man.
It's even better. Yeah, independent.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how this puberty thing plays out, and then I'll give you a firm decision.
We are assaulted, harassed, raped, and killed for something we didn't choose
Yeah.
to be. But boo-hoo, the poor men and their inability to make friends. We can talk about multiple things at the same time, right? Also, it's deranged to say that society doesn't care about women's sexual assault. We have...
Whoa.
If it was the case, nobody would be sent in jail for such act. Just saying, society does care when it's placed on the forefront, when there's trial and such. People do care about that. Just saying. Any thoughts on that?
The problem is we could always be better.
Yeah, as well. That's a good response.
It's not Star Trek yet.
Have domestic violence shelters that we can go to. Men don't. Men being assaulted by women, men being raped is all played off as a joke.
Yeah.
And unbelievable because, it's only men that do that, never a woman. Any thoughts? No?
Yeah, it just seems so one-sided. Again, it's only saying that this only happens to women. What does a man do when it happens to a man? Like, it sucks.
Smile more.
Seen as lesser. Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry, my bad.
When a little boy is molested by an older woman, it's seen as cool and hot. Society is fucked up all around. It's not a competition. It is not a zero-sum game. My video can exist alongside your advocacy for women's rights. As long as you're not saying dumb fucking shit, I will stay out of your way. I don't give a fuck about male loneliness. Like, bro, if you can't meet a girl, just dial up the queer homie and hook up like a normal person.
Wow.
So
You
turn
don't need
like
women in
pen,
this society.
like turn pen if you want. Like, you don't like to have bedroom fun with other men, but do it. Like, be more inclusive in your intercourse, even if you
Have you considered
do
all
not
your
like
options?
Charles'
It seems
reaction
rather
like that.
strange.
I need to hear
doesn't-
your thoughts on that.
Please, Gray, I'm
I was gonna
figuring it
say, I guess there are people that don't believe that you can have personal preferences, that that perhaps a preference would actually be some form of bias. So I don't know, maybe they're going off of that, like they're looking at it through that lens is the only thing I can think. But I don't know, wouldn't this get the whole like I was born this way, wouldn't that kind of throw that argument out the window if you could just change on a dime because you're lonely? I don't know.
Yes, very good point, Gray. IDGAF is a little like I think everybody has the right to whatever they want to do as long as it's not hurting anybody else. But to assume that the antithesis of whatever straight people are is just you could pick whatever the hell you want. That's not, it's not groceries in a store. It's attraction. It's I don't know why. I guess, is loneliness a secret sex meaning? Am I missing that?
I guess it could be, but she was talking about friends and stuff in the video too.
Right.
So it might just be people responding to like the headline instead of actually watching it. They might be taking it that way, but she was talking about like literally friends and actual people you socialize with.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't hook up mean, friends with benefits? Banging?
Yeah. Which when we were watching the female loneliness one, she was saying like, yeah, I could hook up anytime, but that's so empty and it's still lonely.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like this solution wouldn't actually be a solution. That is kind of interesting.
And frame it another way. It's like asking a gay person, have bedroom fun with the opposite gender and see how it goes. It's like, no, you can't really do that. They do you, I will do me. That's how I see it. So when someone suggests, oh, just do whatever, it's like, what if I'm not into whatever?
Yeah, I mean, to whatever credit is due, this could be satire. I mean, it is
for sure. They're not showing the account.
Right. It is presented like a, just bang a friend, and that I need the definition of loneliness because just hanging out with people doesn't necessarily mean you have to procreate.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they didn't watch the video because so part of it is that like they can't find dates or anything, but it's also that they don't have friends and they are very lonely.
They have lesser friends.
Yeah. But I think the other implications of this, if you could just, so if you can't meet a girl, just dial up a queer homie. Wouldn't the implications of that be that like conversion therapy would also work if you can then change just your preferences or what you're attracted to? I don't know. That's kind of horrible.
Have you tried just being straight? Have you tried that?
Yeah, like that seems like that would fall in line with what they're arguing. Right. That's pretty horrible.
That's disgusting.
Have you tried closing your ex account? Have you tried that?
No, just smiling.
Smiling doesn't help, Gray. It never helps.
God, if men are lonely on an epidemic scale, why don't they just cuddle and make out with each other?
Again with the kissing.
Well, I mean, have we tried it though? Like,
I'm not.
Sometimes some bro time is good. I don't know. I think men may actually want that. The ones that she was talking about, the lonely ones, like. They were longing for any sort of companionship. Like, I think they would be cool with the bro cuddle, but I don't think that's necessarily what they're looking for. But I think, these lonely men can't even get that. But they seem to be assuming like, well, yeah, of course you got friends. It's like that's kind of what the loneliness is about. Like, they don't even have a bro that they could cuddle with. Even though, this person is saying that in a, demeaning way. Bros can cuddle too.
And it's funny how I paused, but because I was sure we would have a reaction and response. But I paused like at the right moment where we get to see another dead stupid comment. Why don't they just befriend and date each other? It's like, no.
But no, why is this person taking it as women's responsibility to comfort
and
oppressors?
On top of that, how are we oppressors today? Really? How are we? I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it. Do you see it, Charles? Or do you feel like an oppressor?
I mean, Shu certainly does bow to the altar of manlyhood, so it's hard not to have an opinion.
Plus, historical ramifications, so...
So we should be considered oppressor because our ancestors were cool.
Original oppression. Yes.
Absolutely.
Welcome to
Tacoma
USA
West.
because it's only there that guys are that kind of thinking.
For reasons.
Yeah, we have. Hi.
My.
Why don't they just befriend and date each other? Problem solved. I love this advice. Just be gay. Simply become gay. Are you a lonely man? Are you a fucking loser? Consider sucking dick. Tell me why I, as a queer woman, should take time out of my day to care about men and their issues.
You don't have
Quickly. I'm not disabled. Why should I care about disabled people? Why talk about unions or workers' rights when I'm self-employed? If I only cared about causes
Empathy.
that only affected me, I wouldn't even have a YouTube channel. I mean, yes, you don't have to care. You don't have to care about everything. But it doesn't affect me, so why should I care is just a terrible reason not to care.
I do agree with that statement. Like, again, that goes back to empathy. We should have empathy to everyone.
People seem, especially on the internet, people seem to go out of their way to let the world know how much they don't like something or how much they're not for something, and it's just like nobody's asking you. Shut the fuck up. If you don't want anything to do with it, stay out of it. Like nobody asked for your ridiculous hard-nosed opinion on it.
Yeah,
it's just so.
Go on.
Alligator. We haven't heard from you in a while.
I was gonna say to some of the multi, but I was like, no, you go on, and I'll explain after.
Go for it. That's your time to shine. Alligator lives matter.
Yeah, you got
and
it.
Smile while you're saying it.
Yes.
So multi, when you're saying like no about empathy, we should be empathetic towards everyone. Does that include even the people who are crazy and like?
Yeah, like
they need help.
They need help. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Charles. We're on the same page.
And
on
I
that.
am they.
Well, at least Charles knows what we're talking about. That's the part.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Mental health isn't necessarily stable. I've definitely been in the, I don't know if I'd technically be in the crazy category, but definitely mentally unwell. Yeah, man, like empathy is still understanding and trying to understand what somebody else is feeling. So, yeah, I think we definitely should kind of try to understand and empathize like what they're going through. Like, I don't know. I got a grandma who's like really going through like dementia or Alzheimer's. I guess it's technically both, but I don't know which effects I'm seeing. But it's like, I want to show her as much empathy as possible. And it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks that every time I talk to her, I have to say the same thing like 20 times and we just keep looping in the conversation. But, like she's not doing this on purpose or anything like that. And I'd have to think somebody who's dealing with other mental health issues, they're not intentionally doing this. So, you want to try to give them some understanding that it's like, they're not doing this to try and torment you. They're not literally like trying to be the worst person in the world and disrupt everything, but they're having a tough time. And there's something definitely wrong inside that they're trying to express, I assume. But yeah, that doesn't mean that you have to like say that they're right and everything. Like if somebody's identifying as like Napoleon or something, it's like, okay, I can understand you think that you're Napoleon, and then have, some sort of sympathy for the fact that, they don't seem to be in the right mind, but kind of understand where they're coming from, I guess. But that doesn't mean that we have to like agree with them and, put any notions that they have forward, but, kind of understand where someone's coming from. If they're not mentally well, maybe don't treat them like everybody else. Have a little bit more kids' gloves and kind of treat them a little bit softer, maybe. Not just start yelling at them when they're going on.
Yeah, like multi.
And
exactly. We treat him with kid glove.
Sure. I gotta say, I'm a straight man, and I feel like I wouldn't be shy to stand up if I were in a country where they don't like LGBTQ plus people and women. I wouldn't be shy to stand up for them. Even if it has nothing to do with me, I'm still in the belief that everyone should be equal. So again, I'm a man, but I still care that in other countries, they don't treat people well because of their gender or orientation and such. So it's sad. Like I'm kind of powerless because I don't live really there, and I have other stuff in my own life, but I still care. And when I hear that things are changing in a good way in other places, I'm always glad, even if it doesn't really affect me. So
yeah, and you're able to kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily a small difference, but you're able to, like exemplify what you're hoping that others will do. You're able to like model the type of behavior and treating others the way that you'd hopefully want them to. Now, is some other country like across the world going to see what you're doing and then change based off of that? Maybe not, but maybe it's a ripple that starts spreading. But yeah, it does suck. Like, it is hard to change another country on the other side of the world, but your immediate surroundings, you can definitely change that and have effect on that.
And I will also add this. I'm a champion of diversity, and in my novel there's a lot of diversity, and I do it because I feel like everyone should be represented in media and such. Sorry about that. I didn't have time to mute myself, but yeah.
You're just representing those that can't mute. It's all good, man. Diversity.
Yeah. Or multi.
There's no such thing as misandry, just women who have had bad experiences with men and have
It's like saying there's no such thing as misogyny. It's just men having bad experience with women. It's so shallow. I hate it.
up. There's no such thing as racism. Just white people who have had bad experiences with black people. That's you. That's what you sound like. Can't stand this sort of pathetic pity party. We live in a time of abject plenty compared to any other time in history. Yeah, stop being depressed. You have a bunch of cheap plastic shit from China. Line goes up, world more gooder. Male loneliness epidemic, and it's just them not being able to get laid. Like,
that goes back to what you said. It's probably a person that hasn't seen the full video and has just seen the title.
I also like how the music in the video is the same music from Despicable Me 3's second trailer. Just that.
I wonder if they used just like stock music, because I know she uses that a lot.
Yeah, that's
weird.
music.
I would have thought Despicable Me 3 would have used like some real ones, seeing as how it's like Illumination or whatever.
The movie got worse.
But still, the music's free.
But yeah, the music is free, and this is the music she used in every video based on what I've heard, at least in recent days.
We really don't give a fuck. I love how this is always the go-to when it comes to this conversation. Oh no, the men aren't getting laid. But if you actually talk to some of these guys, even if you talk to some of these incels, the ones who don't hate women, they're gonna tell you that it's not really about sex. It's about companionship. It's about friendship. It's about having a girlfriend, a wife, a family. And a lot of these people were like, well, that's why we should just legalize sex work. And
no, I'm against that. But hey, to each their own, maybe.
Well, I think you would then run into the exact same thing that that above average female was talking about with the loneliness. So then you'd kind of level out so anyone could get laid depending on, if they want to go out to a bar or whatever. But would you still not be lonely? Would this solve somebody actually wanting to hear what you have to say? Would that solve you not feeling heard? Would it solve somebody just being there for you? I don't know. It might level the playing field that one way. It might make men a little bit more able to empathize with the fact that, this above average female, she could get laid anytime that she wants, but she feels that would be empty and lonely. She's looking for some sort of companionship, some sort of friendship. Maybe it would actually level the field if we did something like that, did legalize sex work. But I don't know. Like I said, I've lived in a bunch of kind of medium to bigger cities. There is obviously that weird, sleazy underworld going on, if you will. I was really lonely when I moved to Vancouver, and it's like, I happen to live in the bad part of town. If I wanted to go to the corner, there were people on the corner, not just women. It was very inclusive. But I don't know. I never considered that an option because it's like I was lonely, but not for that, not for companionship that I'm paying for. I also probably could have just taken a cab ride and talked to the dude and paid him for the ride. But that's not what I was looking for. That's not what I was lonely for. I wanted to actually have a friend, somebody to talk to, somebody to actually share experience with, not just paying somebody to be my, I don't know, temporary companion. Like that's not the same thing. So I don't know. It seems weird and one-sided.
Did I miss something on? It seems like
Someone
incel-
said like male loneliness. All we need to do is legalize sex work, and then men won't be lonely anymore.
Yeah, but
And
is
it's
that implying that all men are incels? Is it like?
I think so, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's the same thing. Multi mentioned it that like they probably just saw the title to the video, probably didn't watch it, probably didn't know anything about it other than like lonely. Psh, okay, they can go get a
Right.
hooker, then they won't be lonely. And it's like, well,
Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, you said it.
YouTube.
Yeah. Or
loneliness means more than
people.
hookup culture.
Yes, if you're looking for.
Honestly, I don't think that's a solution. Maybe it's like a temporary one, but it's kind of like putting a band-aid on a broken leg. I don't think paying for meaningless sex with a stranger is going to solve the problem. In fact, it might make it worse over time.
Instead of male loneliness epidemic, call it a cis male unfuckability crisis.
Oh.
So not only she invented the word fuckability, I don't think unfuckability exists. Is it a word?
No, I don't-
Scale.
That sounds like a made-up word.
Okay. And is it supposed to be funny?
Probably.
It was an attempt at humor. But yeah, I don't know if it's more of like a word is like a spectrum, if you will. I don't know. I think, they exist, but yeah, I think she's trying to be funny here.
Damn.
I think people often, like if you want to call it like a rating system, like 1 to 10 or whatever, like isn't that kind of affability or whatever? Or if
That's
you're
a
going to say,
-5,
companionship. Fair enough. I'm just saying, like, yeah, she said it in a crude way, but isn't this the same type of thing that a lot of people use?
Yeah.
A scale of sorts.
And again, referring to sex.
Yeah. Another person that
One
hasn't
track
seen the
mind, those
video.
women.
And then they say that's the men that only think about that. Yeah, sure. Women also do think about it.
It's just like what I said in the video. They have to add cis now because they don't want to insult trans men.
Men suck. I hate them.
Oh, not you. You're not a man. Yikes.
Bruh, when they stop killing women, I'll stop generalizing them. Maybe
I never killed someone. Have you
Not
killed
yet.
someone, Charles?
Every night on
He's
stage,
a comedian.
baby.
He kills all the time.
Yeah.
Beat you to it, fuckface.
How many victims do you have?
You got it.
Charles?
Timing thing.
How many victims did you do?
Hundreds of
The
thousands.
whole crowd. Yeah. Come on,
Damn.
man.
So you
Worldwide,
just ran away
international.
from the police like that? Hell yeah! Like Interpol is after
Well,
you, man.
So he's a
Wow,
comedian.
wow.
He was killing on stage. It's a different type of killing, but it's still killing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. I guess I now don't hate the people saying go to sex workers as much as that person, but fair enough.
Wow,
I should have more
I'm
empathy
with,
for them.
I'm with 3 serial killing dictators, that being Multi, Gray, and Charles. Well, that's
Great.
Hey, I'm
Great.
only in charge of my zoo. Other than that, I'm no dictator.
Great. How many victims do you have? How many people did you delete?
Officially, like on the record that I've been charged for, 0. So
Okay.
so
Okay.
far so good. But I don't know. I'm sure I've offended, made somebody a victim to my like poor choices or I don't know, inability to perceive how I'm like harming them. But yeah, I've never like gone out and killed anyone. I've never taken advantage of anyone. I do believe in consent. So I don't know. I don't feel like I belong here in this category that she's lumping me in. But yeah, I've definitely hurt people's feelings and said things that offend people.
That's a
I've
crime
heard that
now.
words
Go
are
to jail.
violent, so I don't know. I probably have victims.
So I just realized I paused there, and that's another perfect moment where I paused because she's basically telling the same crap as the other one, but now she's saying, "Oh, stop unaliving and raping children and women.
Struggle,
So
snuggle.
Does seem like a step up. At least she's thinking of the children. The last one was not.
it's like I never unalived anyone. I never raped anyone. It's like okay. I guess.
Yeah, and it's sad because I've actually been the opposite with me because I've actually been, well, not necessarily R word because YouTube, but let's just say something close to that.
Struggle, snuggle.
Struggle, snuggle.
Also,
Best comment. Yeah,
it's weird that they've embraced the KYS culture.
What's that?
Unaliving? Unalive yourself?
Yeah. It's because YouTube.
Same shit, only different.
But DC, go for what you wanted to say.
Yeah, sorry.
I was gonna ask, but Multi, you didn't ask me if I unalive.
You're not a man yet, bro. Like you're still a teenager. You have 6 months and 3 months.
Wow, Multi doesn't even consider.
You're a teenager.
Multi just unalive the children.
Anyways,
but DC, I know the answer. You're a good boy. I know you're a good boy.
We assume you're alive, but we hope so.
Yeah, well, I know Gray's dog would definitely say other words, and that's not me taking it Gray. I'm just
He's a rescue, okay? He came from a weird family. I'm trying to give him a good home. I'm trying to teach him right and wrong, but you know, what can I say? It's a hard battle. But he's a good boy. He wants to be a good boy.
Well, it looks like Multi will be away, so
he might be away. Well,
we gotta keep everybody
you
in
know.
Guys, we gotta take some wars and battle each other. So, who's getting ready? All right.
Vanilla Coke. It's got to be the worst of all Cokes, right? We all agree.
No. What are you?
I just wanted to say something to annoy Charles, which you know I'm pretty good at.
I have sugar, no sugar.
Oh, 0 sugar. Okay. I was like, wait, that's awesome that they do like the black and the white. They're so inclusive there in the UK.
No.
But, I understand now. Okay, so can you stand the vanilla Coke, no sugar? Because you're usually the sugar guy, right?
Yeah, I'm the corn syrup. I have it injected into my veins. They are pretty heavy on there's sugar tax here, so there's 0 sugar stuff. They stock it more because it's cheaper. So
nice.
I try to do 2 parts regular to the other way around. 2 parts no sugar to 1 part sugar. And
does that work? Or
no.
Does it? I just wondered because like I don't know. I always grew up. My mom was like weird. Like okay, so I grew up in like the '90s, so it was like with like the snack wells and like 0 sugar and all that.
Oh
crap.
wow! Okay.
So yeah, like that stuff tastes normal to me. So like I don't know when I try like a real Coke or something, it's like whoa, that is too much. So I don't know. Like I always drank Diet Coke. Was always told like you're weird. Like men don't drink Diet Coke. Now it's socially acceptable, but it wasn't when I was a kid. But I don't know. Regular Coke just weirds me out when I drink it.
Well,
do you get that from like the diet because it's like so different?
I do. I could probably do a blindfolded taste test and figure it out.
For sure.
Great. Now say that. Now I'm deeply offended.
I'd rather do it the other way.
Man,
though.
I blame my mom. She was weird. I couldn't afford soda on my own. It was what she stocked the house with.
Okay.
Hey, we're having a tangent, Multi. You left us, okay? Do you mind? We're having a Diet Coke conversation.
We were solving our male loneliness.
That's why I let it like go and finish with your mom buying the Coke and such.
Why do you always have to finish with my mom? It's just uncalled for, Multi.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That is interesting. I understand why they would do the sugar tax thing there, but I hope that never comes here. That seems so.
Wait, there's a sugar tax?
Yeah.
In the UK, they have to charge more for it. So Charles was saying like the diet is actually cheaper than the regular up there because of the sugar.
Last time there was a sugar tax on the Americans, a bunch of tea went in the ocean, so I don't know.
We didn't take kindly to that sugar tax. Well, I mean, they what's his name? Wasn't it Bloomberg tried to do that to New York or whatever?
Yeah.
That sounded weird, but
didn't work.
Speaking of tax, like they want to implement tax on water supply for businesses. That's like something new here because they don't really tax water here yet. But I feel like that's one step. If it really passes through, that's the first step, and the next step they will tax water for everyone.
Aren't you already being charged for it? Like, do you need to be taxed on top of? Like, don't you pay for your water consumption? Like, there's a meter, and then they give you a rate based on. They don't.
That's in Europe.
Dude, Europe is weird with water.
Yeah, that's in Europe. Here in
they
Canada,
do that
we
here
don't
too.
have that.
I swear I had a water meter charge that I had to pay when I was living in Vancouver, but maybe I'm
it's
wrong.
because it's Vancouver, bro.
Yeah.
It could be.
It's
But,
like
yeah,
that,
no,
that
here
corner
they charge
of
me for that.
Canada, that's weird, but
Fair enough.
Vancouver is I'm baffled to think and that you live there for a long time because there it's everything costs so much.
It's the most expensive city I've lived in,
Yeah.
and that was a long time ago, so I could just imagine what prices are like there now. But beautiful.
Decriminalized drug.
Yeah. Hey, they were pretty much decriminalized when I was up there. Just did everything with the law. If you want to go to East Hastings, you will find anything you're looking for, and I don't envy you. But oh hell yeah, we have an elusive Ian.
That's one of my
Oh, yeah.
friends. He is from the advanced source community. How are you,
Nice.
Elizabeth? So, again, here in Quebec, we don't tax water yet, but that's the first step. They want to tax businesses for water. I hope it won't pass through, but yeah, we have enough tax like
interesting.
that. We have enough tax like that.
Yeah, I think we definitely have enough here, but I think they charge businesses here because every building kind of has a water meter and you have to pay for usage. So yeah, sorry, I thought you guys were more tax heavy than us, but apparently we did that way before you. So stop copying us.
We
man.
are tax heavy, but not on water. It's like everything else is more tax, but yeah.
Although, now that I think about it, I don't know if there's tax on my water bill. I should probably look at that. Like, it's a bill, but it seems like this would be tax on top of some sort of bill. So I don't know, man. We went on a weird tangent, Elusive, for no reason, and somehow we went from apparently the UK charges a sugar tax, so Charles had to do 2/3 to 1/3 diet to regular Coke to get his fix. But somehow we got to Canadian water taxes. But we're actually talking about male loneliness and the response that caused and the lack of empathy.
Yeah, we just blame Gray, Multi, and Charles. Just blame those three.
Yeah. So Ian, if you want, I can drop you the link of StreamYard so you can join us if you want. I know you have a lot of very interesting take on a lot of things, so just let me know. I will drop you the link if you want to join us.
People start worrying about their loneliness when they stop unaliving and raping children and women. Yeah, lonely guys, stop raping children, and maybe you won't be so lonely. What's all this hubbub about male loneliness? Y'all are acting like you're oppressed when I've opened myself up to friendships and relationships with you just to get told I have sucking eyes.
Wow.
Oh my, that comment. It's another plane of existence, I swear. They don't live in the same world as us.
And you were saying women aren't funny. I'm just saying. She obviously has a sense of humor.
I not laugh at I laugh at the situation, not what she said, but yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Well, that's actually what a man said, and she just repeats it.
No, but the way that she's able to say that, you can tell that she has a sense of humor. She can see the stupid irony in that. But yeah, man, I don't understand. So it's sad because there are bills that are trying to be put forward, at least a couple of presidential candidates who are no longer in were kind of pushing for this, not having anonymity on the internet. Do you think that would stop people from making comments like this?
No. No.
I wonder, because you'd have to register essentially on social media. You could still choose whatever name you want, but essentially you couldn't have a bunch of bot accounts or whatever. You couldn't have 1 million accounts. You would have it hooked to your actual ID. I don't know.
Maybe that would stop it.
So, if I remember right, Nikki Haley was pushing for that, and there was one other one. I haven't seen any like actual bills or anything saying that like social media will 100% be unanonymous, but there's a few different people kind of pushing for that, and then that would also be one way to combat the bot issue that they have on certain platforms, supposedly. It just seems like a huge trade-off, but would it diminish people saying like the worst possible thing because they have the anonymity? Like maybe, but
it would cut it down.
I don't know. Yeah, for sure, drastically. But
most likely, you're right on that.
I don't know. I want the anonymity. I don't want somebody to be able to hack the system and be like, well, here's your actual ID. I'm like, whatever. Supposedly it'll be encrypted, but I don't know. Supposedly everything is.
It worries me a lot, actually, because what if someone with ill intent just use that, and like it can backfire easy when you get to see everyone on the internet the way you end at with that new law in billing stuff. I feel like it can be used on really vile intent. Just saying. So I'm actually worried. Yeah.
People are very.
What did you say, Joe?
People are very persistent to be anonymous, so it's a big gray area, because I myself deal with somebody who's very persistent in being an absolute piece of shit. So I don't know. Some people deserve that just disinfectant.
Sorry again. I didn't mean to do that.
No, you got it too last night a little bit. Shit.
Oh yeah, good times.
Hyper specific.
4. Okay.
Not everyone is your ex-boyfriend. All of men's problems are created by themselves. How is it women's responsibility to fix them?
Okay, so when women didn't have the same right as men, that wasn't a man's problem. So why should have they helped in solving the matter? Am I clear enough, or I'm too messy or unclear?
No, you're right. Everyone should just pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Nobody needs help from anybody else. Just do it yourself. I don't know. It really sucks. Again, it's just the theme of the day. It's the lack of empathy. Like,
yeah.
It seems like you don't have to blame everybody else because they're not exactly like you. But I don't know. I guess that's me being unempathetic. They are saying different reasons. It's generally historical reasons, but still.
Seriously, why is it always woman's job to fix everything? Well, I'll try to fix my plumbing, my pipes on my sink, and go fix.
Are you saying that
woman.
women don't know how to pipe? I had my house repiped by no. I think plumbing's pretty simple. I think women could definitely do anything that men want to do as far as the trades, but well, I guess maybe there are particular things that, I don't know. There's probably some sort of thing that would be specific, but I don't know. It's just weird. So what do women always fix? Like, there's a bunch of bad jokes that are kind of coming to me, but I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, isn't the traditional fixer like the handyman or whatever who like fixes a whole bunch of stuff?
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to know more of what she's supposed to fix, but I guess she just means men's problem. So fair enough.
Why is it always women's job to fix everything? Any chance to blame other women she seems to always take. LMAO, you are the problem. It's you carrying water for the patriarchy and blaming women for men feeling lonely and radicalized. I find it repulsive anytime I see a woman like her do shit like this. It makes me actively turn violently against things that even I would originally think are nuanced.
So the way that they end this, also, yes, men are lonely. No, it's not up to women to fix that. F off. Pro old school German political.
I'm shocked. That person.
So I think she's getting that last part because specifically she's with a guy who is like conservative now, and he is this like weird brand of conservative. So people keep calling him that, and then the fact that she's choosing to be with him, she is essentially turned her back on the left, so she is now one of them. It's not like she's done anything that seems like it would fit in that camp or deserve that moniker, except for apparently choose to be with somebody who deserves that moniker for being on the other political side.
She likes her
So it's
trains
really
run on
weird.
time, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
sadly.
But like,
At what cost?
Everything.
look at that. The person says. That person says originally think our nuance topic. Isn't it nuance?
No,
That-
not even.
You don't
close.
understand. This person that she doesn't like is talking about it. So all nuance out the window. Now you have to be against it. Teams.
Wow. It's like
Wow.
so shallow.
This society. Wow, just wow.
And I gotta say, opposite attracts. So maybe that's why she's with a more conservative guy. Just
Why do you follow someone named Sugar Tits?
she is entertaining.
He's got a certain set of likes.
Well,
There's this dude
I will
named
be
Bering.
honest.
He kind of grew to fame having like a cartoon bear as his avatar. His, I believe, wife is Sugar Tits, who he jokingly referred to in some of his videos, and then she created her own channel. But it's kind of a female perspective from, they're Australian, right? If I remember right.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I've seen some videos. I'm not actively watching her.
I see 2
but- yeah, but like
out of 4.
Well, I mean, generally they come in pairs.
the last time I've seen one was when we covered one on the podcast here, and that's like season 1-ish. So that's like at least a month, more than a month, 2 months probably. The last time I've seen a video from her. So
Like a season ago.
yeah, yeah. So yes, you see a few, but like she's entertaining. What I gotta say, but the last 2, one of the 2 worked, the other didn't. And I'm sure Gray agrees with me. That's the one where we were like, oh, that one wasn't that funny. I think that was the barbershop, the haircut shenanigans. That wasn't.
You keep grading things on their humor value.
Yeah. So she weighs in on a lot of social issues, but I think she was helping Bering make his videos, and then she created her own channel. But
yeah,
I don't know. We disagreed with her a bunch. It was an interesting take on that whole asking for consent to cut people's hair or asking for. It was kind of weird, but like, you know, it seems like this is a particular type of neighborhood that may pay extra for a particular type of barber. So who cares if they're asking all these questions and you don't want to do it? Like, fine, go to the other barbershop or whatever. But she seemed super against it. Like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And anyone who would ask for consent to touch your hair or scalp in a haircut. It's like, I don't know. I've been asked a whole bunch of questions. Like, do you mind if I like shampoo your hair? Do you mind if I put this product in? Like, I don't know. I guess they are asking consent just in a different way. Not being like, is it okay if I touch your head?
Yeah, and we all know how Gray reacted to when that happened. He just
I am pro consent
and just went on a rampage. So yeah.
Oh, I do like the rampage. Fair enough.
But yeah, again, that's another tangent. But yeah, like the one we have right now, I have no idea. I haven't seen it. I added it on the list because like that playlist is full of videos that could be cancer, as we called it once, or that could be funny and fun content.
Poor Charles.
It's just a malignant, you know, playlist, if you will.
Yeah, if you don't get rid of it early, it could be a problem.
It's true. Test early, test often.
Topics. And also, yes, men are lonely. No, it's not up to women to fix that. Fuck off, Nazi bitch. Things I blamed in the video. Technology, social media, dating apps, and the commodification of love. The media, low wages, the housing crisis, social alienation, lack of community, the left not speaking to men, the feeling of having no purpose. Things I didn't blame. Women! Now, this might come as a shock to you, but not everything...
I'm dying.
I just like how you were just laughing throughout. Like you could not stop.
She's a funny lady. They exist.
Yeah,
I'm just
like she's the exception to the rule, you know.
I'm just complimenting you, Multi.
Wow.
She's the exception to the rule.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are judging a book based on its cover. You know, she looks kind of like that. So, of course, she's saying that there's this male loneliness problem. Of course, she's just a pick-me. She's saying it's women's fault. I'm assuming that's what one is jumping to the conclusion of.
I mean,
but yeah, I wish they had kind of watched the video.
I mean, it kind of depends on the men and women that are doing this crap, that the bad things that drives loneliness. It's kind of those people at best, not just one group and one group. It's more both groups, but a certain like a certain part of the group, I should say.
Yeah,
for sure.
It has to do with women.
Sorry, I did cut you off. What were you saying, Greg?
No, that was it. I was just saying, for sure, he's right. There's nuance. Like, it's not just a wide swath of like everyone with this whatever orientation is to blame. You know, it's very nuanced. People are lonely for a myriad of reasons, and apparently everyone just wants to say that it's because of their own sex, apparently, which, yeah, I don't like a lot of these commenters, but I wish they had kind of watched the video. I think she made, wow. There's a yellow bag right in front of the screen. Sorry, squirrel moment. You know, it's sad. People don't actually want to like take the time to empathize and see what the other person is saying. Instead, they want to jump to the conclusion. Like, of course, she's a pick-me. Look at her. She's saying male loneliness, and look at her. So obviously, she thinks this. That sucks. You know, empathy. Understand what somebody is saying.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Well, at least
sometimes we can talk about other things. Sometimes those other things are not women. My video was about society as a whole, and yes, that includes women. I never said it was women's responsibility. I think I mentioned women like once, and it was to say that women are also lonely, but that the media and society treats women's loneliness much differently than it treats men's loneliness. And yet, thousands of tweets and comments about how I was apparently blaming women and how it's not women's fault. It's to the point where I'm like, is this projection? Do you think it is your fault? But again, my video was...
Do you think is it your fault?
I mean, in a way, it kind of is. Because I mean, it doesn't, like, for instance, I would say I'm lonely because of both men and women, at least people my age. I just say men and women because some of them are 18. So yeah, and that's why it's like, yeah. So I'm the perfect example of, yeah, I am. It's from both sides, but yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts, Charles or Gray?
DC, have you thought of talking to a doctor? A therapist, I mean?
I mean, I normally I would have said yeah, but honestly, I haven't even. I'd say at this point, not even close. I don't, not really.
You should think about it again.
Sometimes it can help. I know I grew a lot from just, they don't tell you like what to think, but sometimes explaining it to somebody else helps you kind of have a breakthrough. And then they really helped me kind of take a look at some of my cognitive distortions, if you will. But yeah, it took me a long time. I just kind of wish I had kind of done that earlier. I got really scared. I think when I was like 18 or something, I went to a therapist, and then I told them like my whole mental history. They're like, cool, well, since you've tried everything, let's do electroshock therapy. And that just scared the hell out of me. So yeah, that like 1 to 100, like, what do you mean we've got to do electroshock therapy? Like, I thought I could talk about this for a minute, but yeah. So because of that, I just for like a decade didn't go in and get any mental health. But yeah, man, there's a lot of ways that I was hurting myself with my own thought patterns. Like they're cognitive distortions, man. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, really helped me kind of see that.
And
but
I actively speak to a therapist, DC, just so you. I'm not saying.
I wish I did. If my insurance was in a little bit better order, because goddamn, it's expensive. But
yes,
yeah, man, it's helpful.
Indeed.
I did went into therapy many years with many different therapists as well, and again, like, they're not there to tell you all to do stuff. They're there to explain why you think a certain way and how you could improve your situation, but they're not there to judge you. They're not there to tell you do this or do that, because if they tell you, it's like taking away your agency. That's basically therapy. Like they will suggest outcome, or they will make you think of outcome you may use. So yeah, that's therapy, man.
Charles isn't like trying to pick on you or anything. I think he's sensing the same thing that I'm sensing, where it's like, wow, I'm seeing a lot of like my younger self and kind of what you're saying. And it's like, I wish I'd kind of realized kind of how my mindset was kind of causing a lot of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's not paired with judgment or anything. I just hear you, and I hear myself, and listen, I'm not fixed. Yes, they do help, actually, believe it or not.
They do.
I'm much better than I was a year ago, and a year before that, and so on and so forth.
But you need to kind of like listen to their advice.
Well, and it's also
you also need
work.
to find the right person, because that lady that I went to, who like basically like didn't listen to anything. Like she also didn't talk to my psychiatrist. She was just a therapist, and was like, well, I've never talked to the person actually giving you medicine or anything. We got nothing else to do. Let's shock your head. Electrodes to the brain. She was not the right fit for me, but I found this dude who really was, and he really helped me get my life on a better path.
Not very many people think of that, Gray. Having somebody that prescribes you medication and somebody that you speak to, more often than not, it's better that you have two separate people that you speak to.
Yeah.
A therapist and a psychologist.
Psychiatrist is the one that can prescribe, but
they give the pills basically.
But they are not all the same. You definitely do have to find the right one for you. And then they all have different methods. There's like, I think I've gone through like 10 different types of therapy. But I really like CBT. It just kind of helps you realize like kind of thinking patterns and cognitive distortions, like mind reading, like where you're putting like the assumptions of this is why somebody else did it. And it's like, you don't know that. Like they could have just been super absent-minded and just thinking about whatever they're doing when they slighted you. But I was always putting that intention on them. Like, no, they were trying to hurt me. Like they were out to get me. Or stuff like that. Like I was doing a lot of things that they kept me inside my head in a weird way. But it helped me.
And to add more to this, look, I kind of talked behind the scene a lot with Dre, and I gotta say, like, if I didn't go in therapy, I wouldn't be here today. That's all I can share right now. But DC, like, it really helps. But like what the guy said, you need to find the right one, and it costs money. It's sad to say, but it costs money. But it does help.
I hate to be cliche too, DC, but I think all of us can attest to this. Whatever you think your biggest problem is now at age 17,
it won't be
10 years from now, it won't even register. Like it really does get better.
Yeah, I know. That's
you'll have other issues. Everyone has, but
the issues will change, but like whatever you're worried about now, just won't even factor into your thought process.
Kind of,
and it sounds shitty and trivializing,
right?
Like I heard the same advice when I was like, oh yeah, fuck you, like whatever, like come on, this is still like the biggest thing I'm dealing with right now. But sadly, like it's true. I didn't want it to be, but
yeah. I'm just saying, it's nothing against you, Charles. Just whenever I think of my issues and I think of like say some of your issues at the time, I'm like.
He didn't share much of his issues. That's the thing. He shared a bit, but we don't know in depth.
I'm still learning about my issues from them. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I
for
get
sure.
It.
I was 17 still have issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that when I think of my issues and I think of some of yours at this time, of course, well, at least multi at the very least, because I've known him longer. I'm sorry, great girls, but I was like. Yeah, they're two completely different because with mine, it's just how do you say it? Nation versus one guy at best. That's how you say it.
But that's what Gray's talking about. I would hazard a guess that you have a little bit of CBT, or just a little bit of CBT because you're. Help me out, Gray. What is it? Cognitive
something.
Distortions. Sorry about that. I was doing a set of curls.
Pardon me.
Wow.
I want some endorphins.
Wow.
But yeah, like I don't know. You'd be surprised how many people do it, and we're doing it constantly. Like the other thing is like filtering, where it's like, you know, you might have a bunch of positive comments, but you're only filtering and focusing on that negative one. It's so hard not to do that. Like, especially on YouTube, if anyone like comments on any of your shit, that negative one's the one that's going to stick out. And then social media, you know, it's the same thing. But yeah, we have not made it easy to not fall into these traps that all humans do, the distortions.
Yeah.
Was not about you. My video was about men. And if you want to listen to a video about women and women's problems, like I said in the original video, tune into literally anything else. Go to any college campus, turn on any TV show, watch a CIA ad. She's so embarrassing. Made an entire career out of being a pick-me. You didn't watch the video. And I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch the video because I'd rather shoot myself than sit through a shoe video. Can someone take one for the team and watch this vid to get an answer? I'm sorry, but it was a 20-minute long video. I have ADHD, and I know some of y'all do too, but I know you motherfuckers are watching 5-hour YouTube documentaries about shit like iCarly. I know you could take time out of your busy schedule from being the most miserable people on earth and watch a 20-minute long video. Here, does this help? Are you paying attention now? She doesn't need to say it's women's fault for us to know exactly.
She didn't say that.
Yeah, she didn't. And even after watching this video, if
stop being a simp for shoe on head, Multi.
Hey,
listen, this chick with the weird hair, I'm assuming that's a chick. They know what she really meant. They can read between the lines.
It's literally a chick, get it?
But I'm really a simp for Seanette. I'm sorry, guys.
She's married.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody who likes trains that run on time.
That's my sad reality.
Multi.
This is like bordering on schizophrenia. Yeah, she didn't say it, but we all know she did. This is why I advocate for mental health care to be free. We need to get these some therapy.
Agreed. Agreed.
Oh, it's funny. Multi says he agrees, but then later on, no, he doesn't agree.
I do agree. What are you talking about, bro?
Whatever she says, he's with it.
Yeah. Maybe not. We'll see. If she keeps the speech she has right now, yeah. Yeah.
Male loneliness this, male loneliness that. Do you know how isolating it feels to almost never be able to develop genuine friendships with men because they see you as nothing more than an object for sexual conquest?
It's odd that you could almost make out her face in that avatar.
And it's odd that
why would anyone perceive her that way?
and she places every man in that bag, and I feel like she only hangs, maybe it's me going too far there, but maybe she only hangs with that kind of people. Maybe like she is attracted to beautiful people, and some beautiful people are like that, so you are what you eat, you know. So maybe this all
she
she
beautiful
sees
people.
Yeah, she's a cannibal. Great.
Whoa,
it
here
went
she
dark.
comes.
It went dark.
Yeah. Huh.
Dark all the time.
But yeah, any thoughts on that?
No, I like it that I don't like it. I think it's interesting that someone whose avatar has as much room for cleavage as their entire face has this take. Is fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, I'd argue the cleavage is bigger than her face in that picture.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you see, it's proximity to the camera. So Charles was, he's making up for that.
Depth perception.
Calculations.
I'm going to tell you something not many people probably have told you in your life. It's not about you. I get that the friend zone is a very frustrating thing to deal with. Trust me, I know. Nothing worse than enjoying being friends with a guy, but not having a romantic attraction and having to cut him off because you don't want to lead him on or hurt him. It sucks being girlfriend zoned. But coming into this conversation, basically like, woe is me, so many people want to fuck me is a little insane. Like, maybe if this discourse was about the friend zone, this would make sense. But this is like barging into a conversation full of starving people and being like, I ate too much chicken tendies, you guys, my tummy hurts. Like, get out of here. Women got sick of men creating a society where women were second-class citizens, so now men are facing loneliness.
I get
so that's
that
women's
speech.
fault?
Yeah, like I get like 80 years ago that was a thing, but
that
we
was
aren't.
that was like 100 years ago. So
No,
why?
he said 80. 80.
80.
I
Yeah,
know.
80 years ago. Like actually 60 years, 70 years ago. 70 years ago.
Exaggerating, but yeah. But it's like, why now of all the times when life could not be any worse with COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a couple years ago it was a little worse, but fair enough. I understand what you're saying. But this feminine eye, I think, just took responsibility for women are to blame for this. Apparently, women got sick of men creating a society where women are second class. So now men are facing loneliness. To me, she's saying women are responsible for this, which is, that seems so sexist of her.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
she's as sexist as the other ones that hated men so much.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Charles?
No.
Okay.
I think we have 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, this is payback to you for not letting women vote decades ago. You personally, men failed themselves. They built a whole system for their benefit, and in the moment it starts to crumble because the oppressed class they've always subjected, women, is waking up. They start to put the blame on us, cowards and dangerous misogynists. So first of all, nobody's putting the blame on you. Nobody did that. I didn't do that. You made that up in your heads. And second of all, this system wasn't created for the average man. It was created for the rich and powerful. It benefits the rich and powerful. They have their boots on our necks, and the handmaidens are like, oh no.
That's clearly like satire. If it's not, that person is on another plane of existence. I said that too many times this week. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. It looks like a complete sitcom.
The feminist movement officially started in 1848.
Yeah, so that's 80 years ago.
Plus a couple more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another phase in 68 and 69.
Oh, they look kind of sad. I'm sorry. Who has their boot on your neck? All men? You know who has their boot on your neck? These satanic pedophiles in charge of our government. These soulless demonic corporations that would throw your mother into a wood chipper if it made them make an extra penny. That's who has the boot on your neck. Not Joe Schmo working 2 jobs so he doesn't get evicted. Here's some male loneliness discourse for you. Do you ever at all, even for a second, consider the problem is you? That maybe, just maybe, the reason you're lonely is that you are an awful human being?
I mean,
so I will ask DC, are you an awful human being?
Not even close, though almost every single dog would probably say otherwise. But no, in terms of humans, I am actually a very good person, arguably the best person in my town, which that's saying something because there's almost no
Wow.
good.
I'm not even close, man. Congrats.
So I keep going with your idea. Sorry I cut you off. So keep going with the idea you had.
So yeah, it's like I agree with this comment. It's like saying, either the only reason why loneliness happens is because they're awful people. They're awful men, awful women. So yeah.
I know, Charles, you're not lonely. You got a nice person in your life.
Take it easy. Watch it.
How do you know he's not lonely? Wow.
I know he's not lonely. Well, I don't think so. I think you're happily married, right? I think.
Happily presumptive, but
But on top of that, like he's not always in the same country with her. Sorry about the bird. I don't know. It's a little presumptive to say that he's not lonely, considering he has somewhat of a unique situation.
Yeah, I'm half and half.
Okay, are you lonely then, Charles?
No, I'm actually. What I'm working on is social anxiety. Quite the opposite. I want to be alone.
Okay. Okay.
I have leave me the fuck alone issues.
It's fine, Charles. You know, Gray are also married, and yet they've never met each other. So yeah.
So Gray, are you lonely, Gray?
I live in a zoo, so I'm surrounded by living creatures. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Not too lonely. I suffer from a lot of what Charles is talking about. I also have social anxiety, so I kind of prefer to be alone. I mean, we're all on the internet here. Excuse me about the birds. So that's probably, a similar thing. We're not exactly outgoing, always in public, in real life people. I will mute now because of the birds.
Yeah.
I actually agree. I actually agree with everything Gray said. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
I think
go for it.
Society in the last 15 years or so, the internet has kind of progressed to a certain extent where, I mean, I have lots of friends from around the world, like literally around the world. I have friends in Australia, Canada,
yeah,
Europe. But I consider a lot of these people that I'm spending time with right now, a hell of a lot closer than family members and, people in my own neighborhood. So people being social has kind of changed a little bit. Like I met my wife is British, and I met her while me, the American, was in Denmark. So, and again, all through a computer screen. So things have changed a little bit, and the old, just meet somebody out in public way of doing things is a little bit different. There's other opportunities out there. It just the you have to have some sort of morale to do it, whether or not it's at a computer screen or out in public. There are choices, at least now, that make it a little bit easier, a little bit.
Yeah, it does. But I'm with you, man. I understand what you mean. Like I'm closer to you guys than some of the parts of my family because I got a huge family, but there's a part it's kind of far, even if they live like really close by, they're far away in prisons, if we can call it that way. I don't know how I can call it that way, but yeah, I get that feeling, man. I feel closer to you all than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same with me. Like
despite the seas.
Yeah, like I would actually consider you guys part of my actual family. Well, my family in general.
Yeah. Yeah, same here, man. Same here.
That's kind of you, considering you also told me that you consider me your arch enemy. That is awesome, man. Thank you.
That's his way of spreading love, That's DC. Like, we're all like DC one day.
Yeah. Plus, Gray, that's just a running gag joke that I like to do.
No, I think Charles had it right though. Keep your friends close and your arch enemy's family. It makes sense.
I mean, Charles is our punching bag for this. For our podcast, right, Charles?
Sure. As long as somebody's laughing, I don't give a shit.
But that was multi.
I also thought that was me, but hey, that routine's Charles now.
Being truly just awful, and that it's right that you are lonely, it's fair. I mean, yeah, they probably do consider that. The suicide rate doesn't lie. Maybe if some men weren't bigots. The solution to male loneliness is literally just being a better person.
I love that the implication here is that lonely people are bad people. Every lonely man is just a bigot and a racist and an Andrew Tate fan. I guess it makes it easier for them to not care about this if they paint these people as the enemy. If you dehumanize the enemy, it makes it easier to sleep at night, I suppose. Now, I started noticing a reoccurring pattern with a lot of these accounts getting mad about or dismissing the male loneliness discourse. Many of them have OnlyFans. This is relevant. This is relevant because out of every
gotta meditate on that. So they're glad that these men are lonely because these men are bringing money.
It's good for business.
They have a fiduciary interest in men being lonely.
Yeah.
And their sample size is probably of a certain type of category, a certain type of man who probably is somewhat objectifying them, seeing as how he's paying for seeing what he wants to. So I don't know.
I think there's a conflict of interest there, though.
Yeah, for sure. But I think the conflict of interest mixed with the, particular clientele they're dealing with, I think that probably makes for I guess an opinion like this, but fair enough.
Fair enough.
All the men that give me money to get naked objectify me.
Woe is me.
Everyone on Earth.
F the patriarchy.
Why would those people be so mad about someone wanting to solve or at least bring attention to the male loneliness epidemic? This is like a crack dealer getting mad at people talking about crack addiction. This is your opinion, and this is where it belongs. Have a good day. I could say that, okay? I'm a YouTuber. That's far more degrading than being an OnlyFans model. Her face looks like she's pandering to pedophiles. That makeup style is so catered to pedophiles. They're actively trying to make themselves look like kids. Ah,
What?
yes.
What? I don't know any children that looks like that, and trust me, I have a
mean,
youth
she looks
family.
young.
She does
I
look
guess there's
teenager-ish.
that.
Maybe
She doesn't look 40.
Yeah, but I don't think she's 40.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying she's trying to. I think they're just looking at the fact that, like, yeah, she looks pretty young, so she's trying to look like a child. It's like, or she
Well,
just looks like that. I don't know.
I think she's
that-
in her 20s or so, like maybe
Yeah,
late
somewhere
20s,
around there.
as like maybe late 20s.
Yeah,
I'm actually
58,
curious.
57.
I'm shoe on and age.
You're looking up her age on stream. I think
Oh,
either
she
way,
is in
she
her
looks quite
30s.
youthful.
Stalker.
Well, I
So-
wouldn't have thought that. I
No.
would have thought, she obviously looks young, and that must be why they're saying that she's trying to look like a child. It sounds more like a self-tell than, any actual accusation.
That projection.
Because I don't know, should a child be wearing eye makeup like that? Like, I don't know what a
No.
part of that is
No,
supposed to be
I would
childlike.
never let my kids wear that kind of makeup. Wait until you're an adult.
See, now that you broke the seal, what is the number after the first three?
The number after her
2.
first 3, 4.
She's 34,
She's
No,
32.
born in 92.
Yeah, she is 32. I'm surprised. She's a bit older than I thought, but that's still young. I mean,
Actually,
Listen.
she was born in 1999 and 1991.
it
Oh.
says 92. Oh, 91. You're right. She will be 33 this
33
year.
this year.
Yeah.
Multi
Yeah.
has an issue with years in this
I suck at
this
math.
podcast specifically.
I
It's like
suck at
100
math.
years either way.
Yeah, that's like in 1900. You know.
Exploit that shit. If you look much younger when you're a certain, I mean, you'll get carded at like buying alcohol or something, but take the good with the bad.
Children, notorious for wearing big fake eyelashes and 10 pounds of eyeliner. What? Can't stand this bitch and her side part. Bitches with this makeup style piss me the fuck off. They always wear that type of makeup. Looking at her makeup, I already know the type of person she
Nice
is.
hair.
You can just
And
Nice
then they say men are freaking superficial.
Yeah.
Wow, emphasis on the wrong syllable there, Multi. Superficial.
Like, isn't like most of these comment coming from women? I don't know.
Well, the other one just had a. I'm not even looking at the comments. I'm looking at the avatars. The other one just had a hairdo. Look at my hair. This one with the teeth.
That one is a vampire.
Yes.
tell by her makeup. Not to be rude, but that makeup tells everything I need to know. Her makeup says everything I need to know. This is literal NPC behavior. Not watching the video, blindly spewing the exact same insults. Just, I have no argument and I must scream. They don't even know why they're mad. They just saw a woman in the thumbnail of a video about men and their brains just broke. Her makeup doesn't look like ours. Her hair is styled differently than ours. Should I be like extra cute in this thumbnail? Would that piss them off?
I'm not like other girls.
Why do we hate her again? Guys, why do we hate this person again? Can't form my own opinion, help. Why do we hate her? Why do all incel adjacent women look like this? When you're a woman talking about men's issues,
She's an incel, but yet she is married, I think. That's
No, she's just incel adjacent.
Yeah.
Multi, I just like how you went from being our regular co-host to now just wanting to marry for the
No.
Oh yeah,
Not
you turned
that
it down.
far.
Go to that.
That
That
far.
always existed.
Issues online, and they can't outright call you an incel. They just call you incel adjacent, I guess. And when they're not calling you incel adjacent, they're breaking out all reliable pick me behavior. Pick me girls are so CEO of pick me, high priestess of pick me church. So I am the CEO of pick me, and
But look, she makes money. Who cares? It's like you making money from
CEOs make money.
Yeah.
Once and all, what is pick me? Can you define pick me, please?
So it's like the person like, I'm not like all the other girls. Like, I'm special.
I'm the voice
so
of
it's
reason.
it's kind of like the there's many unfortunate versions of this, but yeah, it does seem to be the female version of it that is kind of there for the men.
It's
but
like
I'm not like the other girls.
It's like a diverse person that says I'm a diverse person, but I hate diversity because there are some people that are like that. That would give you an idea of what a big pick me is like, oh, I'm the thing you guys ate, but I
So-
also ate it.
Gray, you kind of gave me some mustard for a comment I made. Is it
Very
similar
much
to-
like that? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the UT thing,
Thank
but
you.
of women. It's
Got it.
You know, I'm not like the other girls. I understand men. Yeah, it's very much the same thing. So it's
Got
used
it.
in the same way, and often not necessarily correctly. Or like it doesn't define it. It's just like I don't like you, but you're just trying to show the men you're different.
Right. So
but-
she's doing more harm towards the
Yeah,
feminine
exactly. The female
interest.
cause.
Okay.
Yeah. You summarize very well and better than me. Good job, Gray.
and the high priestess. Maybe this video will boost me to pick me goddess. Watch out, Pearl. I'm coming for your title. Now, I've already talked about the pick me insults in other videos, but it's just so lazy, man. I'm so tired of it. I've been hearing it for over a decade now. And yes, there are people who absolutely do fit the definition of a pick me from both genders. Men who talk about how much they hate men, women who talk about how much they hate women. But I don't hate women. My mom is a woman. My sister is a woman. My friends are women. I am a woman. I can't be women phobic. I have women friends. But the insult is just so beyond overused nowadays. Every woman who doesn't toe the current line is a pick me. It's just a way to socially ostracize other women, to make you fall in line and agree with their opinions. But it's not going to work here because I am socially retarded and borderline autistic. So you have no power here. You can't tell me what to believe. You can't change my opinions. You're not my boyfriend. I hope this bitch fails to wake up in the morning. Her terrorism still hasn't stopped. Oh my.
How did she is making like terrorism and such? I mean, she's not blowing up buildings. She didn't use weapon to shoot
Well,
people.
I mean,
words hurt, and she is not saying the right ones. So
She's performing a figurative 9/11 on the feminist cause.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we defined why Shuanit is indeed a terrorist. Okay, that's cool. She's a terrorist now. I enjoy a terrorist content creator.
My God, she's still relevant? She should have went down with her anti-feminism shtick a few years ago. I
Yeah.
thought she would have fell off by now. If you want to know how I didn't fall off, if you want to know how I'm still relevant after 10 years, look in a f***ing mirror. You stop being cringe, I stop being relevant. Deal? Fun fact, she reached out to incel accounts for help with this video. No, I'm not kidding. Well, yeah, it's good to go to the source and talk to the people who have experience with the subject I'm talking about. I'm
Somebody's
not
phone
lonely and I'm not a man.
Oh, any thoughts, Charles?
Somebody's phone ringing?
Probably mine. It's on vibration.
Yeah, I heard it.
I
Is that-
yeah. People
maybe it's
know
just
I'm
the
occupied. at
banging
the
part of the
moment.
song?
Yeah.
It's kind
I-
of on beat.
I told people don't disrupt me at that time on these 2 days, but they still do. They just don't listen.
They should have known.
Selfish
They're doing it just to
bastards.
spite you.
They have no empathy.
Yeah,
True.
you're damn right.
They totally are not just like, being absent-minded. They knew, and they intentionally did this. So that would be a cognitive distortion that I used to have. Yeah, but good times.
Good times.
Of course, the computer.
Yeah, well, StreamYard, YouTube.
And despite what the mainstream media may say, I do not, in fact, have a penis. Do not put in the paper that I have a penis.
We scour the internet for weird video to show you, and the other day we came across this, the weirdest we've seen in a while.
The problem is Shu just affirms them instead of converting them.
Converting them to what? This is exactly the thing I talked about in my video. These people don't want to actually help men. They just want to recruit them into their little political tribe. Would it be cool if everyone agreed with me politically? I was gonna say yes, but honestly, that would be a little horrifying. That would be a very scary world. My goal wasn't to convert men to agree with me politically. My goal was just to bring attention to this issue and put a spotlight on it. It is cool when people tell me, oh, you've changed my mind on this, you've changed my mind on that. I love that. I love to see that. I was unaware that was my job. My job is to get on YouTube and say poo poo pee pee, and everyone go ha 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 and give me money. But in this
fact. Any thoughts so far?
Women funny.
This one is funny. I specified. This one is funny.
this case,
She's
it
a
was
woman.
for me to go, hey,
This one is-
the men are not okay, and for people to go, damn, that sucks, and give me money.
PragerU is sharing Shoe1Head's video now. Explain to me how she's still a leftist.
I personally think it's a good thing when people agree on good things. There should be more people agreeing on good things, quite frankly. I feel like a lot of good things would be done in this country if more people agreed on good things. And I don't know, I think it's pretty neat that this might be the first and last time a video that talks about alienation under capitalism and says the term material conditions will be shown to a massive right-wing audience like PragerU. But hey, don't worry your little heart. This will never happen to a left-wing YouTuber you watch. The internet feminists weren't the only ones booty blasted about my video. I also rustled the jimmies of some in the manosphere. You just want more OnlyFans subscribers. You don't care about male loneliness. She's actually a man dressed as a woman.
That's
what?
Is that supposed to be an insult? Because if it is, I just don't get it how it would be insulting.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that stupid comment?
No.
I mean, of course it's supposed to be insulting, but yeah, I don't know. So you seem to be up to date on Shu. She doesn't have an OnlyFans page, right? That was just somebody being a jerk. I assume Multi would know.
I will be honest, I have no clue. I don't think she has.
Okay.
I think she did a joke about it, but I don't think she has one. But I may be wrong. But I think that would be the kind of stuff she would say like as a joke, most likely. That's the best takeaway I would have. But again, I may be wrong and maybe she has one. I don't know. I don't think she has one. If she has one, she didn't advertise it. That's one sure thing. So yeah, does that answer the question well?
I guess you were willing to Google her age, but not her OF. I get you.
You know what?
No, I'm just
Right.
I'm just kidding you. I'm positive she doesn't have one. Not because of looks. Just I think you know.
I don't
it
think
would
she
not
has
fit
one.
her. Yeah. But good times. I just wanted to make Multi sweat a minute and then point out that you know, he wasn't willing to Google that on stream. But fair enough.
Actually, she has one, but
Onlyfans.com/shoe on bed. Giddy up.
Nice.
That's surprising. Okay.
Does she really have an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know if there's media there, but apparently there is. But maybe that's a fake account.
It has to be a fake one. Like,
yeah.
I don't.
Quick,
want
sign
to
up
dig
for it
up.
and find out. Let us know.
No, I'm not wasting money on that.
Renew your
research purposes for the podcast.
No. Let's split, but I think that gotta be fake. I mean, maybe it's not. Well, picture on that looks like something that was Photoshop, so I don't know.
Oh.
I got no idea, and to be honest, I don't care.
OnlyFans hosts
That's why
stand-up
she
comedy.
or
Keep going.
he is there speaking about men's issues. Fellas, protect your sanity, your seed, and your wallet in these current times. These women are shapeshifters. This chick is gonna hit the wall in 10 years. That's why she cares about male loneliness. She sees many cats in her future. They want us
she's
back on the
married.
plantation, gentlemen. Hold the line. I don't really understand what the conspiracy here in
Right,
general is, though. Like I'm just talking about a subject I found important and interesting, like I've been doing on this channel. And these guys are like, stay strong, brothers. Don't give in to temptation. Why are we listening to women about male loneliness? Plenty of male figures discussing this. Honestly, I'm going to say it. SJ.
Hmm? What?
No, I don't like you pausing.
Yeah, that's right.
Obviously, the
W
dude didn't
behavior.
watch it because that was part of her point in the video is that, you know, women aren't necessarily talking about this. So one is, and the response is, women shouldn't be talking about this. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I think everyone should be allowed to speak up. I think everyone matter in that cause. It's
not everyone.
That was the same thing with
All crocodile lives, not alligators.
Shots fired at DC.
Liberal behavior, woman behavior, to imply that I shouldn't speak or be listened to about a subject because I'm not the correct gender. Anyone can talk about anything they want. That's free speech, bitch. You don't have to listen. You can make your own video talking about the subject, Mr. Man, but you know they're just gonna call you sexist and misogynist, so you might as well just use me as a human shield. It's not that she's a woman or cares. She's the kind of person who will only talk about an issue because it's popular. Women suddenly want to help men, but only because it benefits them and their causes.
Well, now not only are conservative women talking about it, but also the left. This is the problem with the women that decide to come forward and speak about men's issues. They don't care about men's issues. You must ask the question. Now that they're coming around and talking about men's issues, is it to help men or to win men into their cause?
So for
red pillars like to tell you you're miserable, so you stick around and feed into the machine. Just saying. Any thoughts on that, Dre or DC?
I think a lot of people kind of do that. You know, it's good for business, but yeah, that's sad. I don't know why you'd say that some particular person can't speak on an issue. They might be uninformed and they might not be correct, but yeah, I guess it's a different ideology. I think everyone should be able to speak on it. I just think not everyone's going to be correct on it.
Misery loves company.
First of all, let me just clear something up because some of you seem a bit confused. I started talking about these subjects 10 years ago, way back before it was popular to do so. Back when I was doxxed, harassed, had angry feminists calling my job and trying to get me fired over mocking pop feminism and talking about men's issues. And a lot of these people coming at me now, telling me I'm jumping on a bandwagon, started like 2 or 3 years ago, when it was safe to do so. So with all due respect, sir,
stay out of my territory.
But in full seriousness, it is good when more people talk about this subject. I'm glad you talk about this. I'm glad there are people like the honey badgers who have been talking about this stuff for a very long time. This girl is a fake who wants every man to be a castrated beta male feminist commie like her boyfriend probably is. She takes advantage of men like this. Do not listen to her.
Any thoughts on that? It's clearly
They're obviously
satire.
not up to date on the lore. He's not a feminist. He's a Nazi. So yeah.
Any thoughts, Joel, on that current
I'm
comments?
not listening to her.
Yeah, same with me.
Why don't you listen to her?
Because I was told to.
I like that answer.
Sharp as a marshmallow.
Lefty women want to help men become good feminists who devote their lives to helping women have all the power so they can make men their servants. Basically, we need to help men destroy men. That's the only way men should be helped. We women said so.
Yeah.
Shoe on head. Real quote, never trust a woman, even if they are saying the truth. Wow. It's so weird how, like, they need to convince themselves that even when a woman is showing empathy and, like, caring about this subject, that she's just, like, a lying snake in the grass. Literally just a mirror universe of these fucking femcells. It's mommy and daddy issues all the way down. Ladies, be a good mom to your sons. Fellas, be a good dad to your daughters. Try to prevent creating the most insufferable, annoying people on earth, please. I don't know if it's because I grew up with a good relationship with both of my parents or what, but this gender war shit is just so toxic, man. Men and women need each other, you know? We're yin and yang, and the yin and yang is being torn apart by miserable people who want to make you miserable as well. One of the most valid criticisms I got about this video was that I didn't offer any solutions. And honestly, that's because I don't have any. I wanted to talk about the problem, but I don't know how to solve it. A lot of YouTubers and streamers and talking heads will get up on their platform and like pretend they know the answers to everything. But the truth is, I don't. I just think that it's a step in the right direction to be like, hey men, you're struggling, but you're not a bad person. You matter. And if I could snap my fingers and cure this, I absolutely would. But at the end of the day, men are men, and man problems require man solutions. And that solution, of course, is giving me money. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm reading the comments on that video all the time, and I will read the comments on this video as well. If you see some people talking about their experiences and venting about their issues and their problems in the comments, reply to them, support them, join in on the discourse. The Shoe on Head community is a very diverse community, not like race-wise. I'm pretty sure you're all fucking white, but like like politically diverse. But we can all come together to talk about the issues that matter, and I think that's really cool, and we love to see it. And I will see you in the next video.
Okay. So, that was a video I liked.
Well, quote unquote, like, because I mean, it has to be flawless, and it was born.
Some may say simped for instead of liked, but we get you.
Yeah.
Rhetorical question to screen. Okay, that's your new nickname. So, I will kind of repeat what we talked about on that stream about male loneliness. Were you with us, Charles, that day? We talked about male loneliness like a month ago.
No, we were lonely because he wasn't there, but sadly, no. He wasn't.
So
I was in some of it, I think. It wasn't a shoe video though. It was the girl. It was your favorite doctor.
No, that wasn't the male loneliness one. That's we talked about
female loneliness.
Yeah.
Oh, you said male.
One, yeah. So I will suggest a small refresher, and then I will ask Shaw what would be your answer to male loneliness. So my thought when we had
Charles,
that stream,
solve the problem now.
My thought when we did the stream is gather around others, whether they're men or women, it doesn't matter. It's like the sense of community, create it and make connection with others. That's one of the best way. And I also point out that our streams we do here, that's the kind of stuff that could reunite people, and maybe that can help to not feel that lonely. So yeah,
we've solved the problem?
Not necessarily, but that's part of the key, take action. That's part of the key. So Gray, what would be an answer to that male loneliness epidemic?
I have no clue, but the 15-year-old who was awesome at the beginning of the podcast had a pretty good answer of, I'm looking for it. It was essentially drink water, touch grass, go outside. Those are all good things. We kind of touched on it with like the female loneliness thing, but it's a lot easier said than done. Like, just smile. That's not necessarily going to make you a nicer, happier, more pleasant person. But, if you're actually out there in the world, actually interacting with people, perhaps it will help you learn those skills to actually interact with people. And then you would meet people and you would hopefully not be as lonely in the future. But it's not going to be an easy road. I've definitely dealt with some antisocial issues. A lot of that was working on myself to kind of understand what I was looking for in relationships and kind of be honest with that. Because I got to be honest, I'm not great at communication and I kind of ghost people a lot. That sucks. I've learned that is really shitty, and I should have empathy for how other people experience that. And I just come off as, the biggest asshole ever. So I've learned to do that less, if you will. But I don't know. Everyone should work on themselves and put themselves in a place where they could be less lonely, could meet others. Sadly, you're going to have to make yourself more vulnerable to do that. And that's not easy. And it definitely is hard. So it's skills you got to learn. But I don't know if all the reasons that she mentioned, technology, social media, the way that we've kind of changed everything is helping. So, I wish there was a place that we could have a sense of community with. I don't think religion is necessarily the answer, but at least then there was more of a sense of community. There was somewhere where you went like every week, you got to know the people in your community. I don't know. I've got neighbors that I've never met. I see them. Sometimes I wave. Sometimes it's just awkward. But I don't know them. And I don't know. That's kind of the society we're living in. So I don't know. Find a way to get out there and meet more people. Not all of them are going to be good, but perhaps you will develop those skills to where you will learn how to be social in a positive way towards the right people in the future.
And DC, what about you? Male loneliness. What did you add as an answer?
I had where I pretty much thought it was my answer was something like it's really not. To be honest, I kind of forgot my answer, but I think it's something more along with some of the lines of that all of this, some of them, Sorry, I need to think really well. I'm guessing it's more of the like, I don't know. I don't know how to like answer that question well, but yeah.
Okay, so
Learn a
Charles,
hobby.
learn a hobby. So Charles, do you have an answer to male loneliness? Because she asked, "What are yours?" And what would be your answer to male loneliness?
Well, Gray said he doesn't know if it's religion, but I have an answer to that. For $59.99 plus tax, you can get yourself a American Bible.
Oh.
Oh.
Solve all the problems.
Officially sponsored by our 45th president. So,
ooh, 45. I don't know. Like, I guess all I meant by that is just, like the sense of community. Like, I don't know if we have anything like that in the secular world.
I just needed a lead in for that joke.
I got you. I'm actually considering it, man. If I just had enough.
But it comes with a constitution, too.
Ooh,
but wait, there's more.
But yeah, I guess like a hobby, but even then, it's going to be hard to necessarily be social if everybody's like hard into their project or whatever they're doing in that hobby. So I don't know. You definitely have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable.
And you nailed it before. You do have to work on yourself. You can't expect everybody else to fix you. You do have to do some sort of work.
Yeah, that's true. I fully agree. Everything starts with you. That may sound self-centered and very like egocentric, if we can call it that way, but so I guess that's the answer. Empathy. What guys are thinking after seeing that? Does empathy still exist? After watching a shoe on that video, is empathy still a thing?
Yes and no. That's my very small answer. Yes and no.
I feel like I've expended a good supply watching that video. I feel like currently I have less, but I can replenish.
Indeed.
Any thoughts? Rhetorical question to stream.
No, I second that.
Anyway, I had a blast this week as usual. That's another great week. There's no bad weeks whatsoever. We just have a good time, you know. So DC, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
I should have a video coming out today. It will just be me doing a Marvel vs. DC Revenge of the Amalgam casting video featuring just some Batman amalgams, and that's it.
That sounds fun. Any other project incoming?
Not at the moment, but yeah.
What about you, Charles? What do you have going on your end of the internet?
Gonna be on Thinkers tomorrow.
Amazing. Anything else?
Yeah, I keep saying I'm gonna have something coming up, but I don't ever get around to it. So just subscribe
Maybe.
and find out.
Great.
And my answer is the same as his. I'm going to be on Thinkers tomorrow. You know, it's a fun place over on that darn Kiddas channel. Every Thursday morning, the Thinkers. Other than that, I also have some stuff that I keep saying I'm doing, and it will come out eventually. So, yeah, feel free to sub. But stuff in the future. Hey, Multi, what you got going on, sir?
Nothing.
At the moment, we only do the podcast, but hey, there are video cooking. The Stargirl video is somewhere when I get a chance to rewatch the show. Otherwise, I'm working on a Walking Dead retrospective because I'm watching this show now with the podcast. And yeah, I will have some guests on if some people want to speak about it with me furthermore outside of the streams. And yeah, it's stuff in the making. I'm a project builder, you know. I like to build new stuff. So yeah, outside of that, not that much. I guess, yeah, not that much. And this shall be the end for this week. That was another great week.